is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Southwest.
Previously on Rangers baseball.
In this special place, this baseball heaven called Cooperstown, and my dream has become a reality. Thank you all so very much. God bless you all, and God bless baseball.
The 3-0. Bounce off, left field. Around second, heading to third, Mazzara. Beltre goes for two, and it's a stand-up double. And there it is, number 3,000 for Adrian Beltre. This is Rangers baseball presented by AT It is a new week in Rangers baseball, literally, figuratively, as we shake off the hangover of yesterday's spectacular afternoon here at the ballpark. Adrian Beltre achieving immortality yesterday with his 3,000th base hit. Now tonight, the opener against the Seattle Mariners. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Dave Raymond with CJ Nikowski. What a night tonight. We hope to start what will be a new chapter in Rangers baseball, but let's not forget to look back. What a day yesterday. Beltre's 3,000 and Pudge Rodriguez into the Hall of Fame.
Well, tremendous day to be a Ranger fan. You think about Cooperstown, New York, and then, of course, here in Arlington. But let's go to New York first and take a look at Pudge Rodriguez, that moment that every player dreams about, but so few actually achieve. The first time you get to see your plaque right there in Cooperstown, hanging next to other greats in the game. And then, of course, the fun parade that they do in downtown there in upstate New York. And then, of course, yesterday we had some pretty exciting moments here, and the biggest one was Adrian Beltre at 3:33 local time, digging in against Wade Miley in his second at-bat, and on a 3-0 pitch, drives the ball into left field. It was a double for Adrian Beltre. Hit number 3,000. Now the sign, of course, in right field as well. And there he was, thanking the fans. Just an awesome day overall in Texas Rangers baseball history.
Yeah, you know, still a little bit of a glow today on this Monday, celebrating those great moments yesterday, but jarring change of direction because it was also the trade deadline, which passed several hours ago this afternoon. And the Rangers very active as a part of Major League Baseball's trade deadline. Three big names no longer with the team. Ranger
fans are used to adding at the deadline, so it's a little bit of a different feel this time around. The big one, Yu Darvish goes to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Reliever Jeremy Jeffress was traded back to the Brewers, and Jonathan Lucroy will go to the Colorado Rockies. So, yes, a little bit different this time around, but certainly a smart move, you got to believe, here for John Daniels, who continues to do a great job at the deadline. All of a sudden, this team has gotten some young players in return, something they had been hoping for.
So plenty to break down with that as we move forward. But now we start talking about this wild card race in the American League. It's still a very tight one. A lot of teams involved, not the least of which tonight's opponent, the Seattle Mariners.
The Seattle Mariners right now are playing some really good baseball. They just won their last two series, and we'll take a look at where they are as they make their playoff push. Just 3.5 games back of that second wild card. You see what they have done since June 19th, and is playing some really good baseball on the road as well. Felix Hernandez going tonight. That'll certainly make that interesting. We'll dig in a little bit more as far as what's going on with him.
Well, speaking of Felix Hernandez, how about the starting pitching tonight as we get going back in division play? Two All-Stars, two aces tonight in Felix Hernandez and Cole Hamels. And you can bet the two of them, they'll be the spotlight when we come back. brought to you by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. And by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Well, all set to go tonight. Ready for the opening game against division foes. Good to see the Seattle Mariners back in town. And we had teased the starting pitching tonight. Time for our Shiner Light Blonde Spotlight. And it is two great starters for these two clubs.
Yeah, this will be a fun one. A couple of not older guys, but slightly older, but guys that have had great careers. You see Felix Hernandez, 3.18 ERA. A little bit of a slow start for him. He let up a lot of home runs early in the season. Of course, the total wins there, 159 for Felix, 141 for Cole Hamels. And as the Mariners start to think about what's going to happen here with them and whether or not they're going to have a shot at that wild card, a lot really is resting on Felix Hernandez and what he can provide over these last couple of months. As you see Scott Service, the manager there for the Seattle Mariners, they're saying Felix Hernandez, they need the old one. He has yet to pitch in the postseason in his career. They would like to give him that opportunity this year.
Let's take a look at the Mariners starting lineup tonight. And even 500 at 53 and 53 coming into play today. In the heart of things, the former Ranger Nelson Cruz leading the American League with 79 RBIs. Another former Ranger, Leonis Martin, back with the ball club. He's in right field today, batting 8th.
And they will be going up against Cole Hamels, as we mentioned tonight. We'll take a look at the pitch arsenal and what he has done this season. And it's a lot of fastballs for him, just over 50%. Still good velocity, averaging 92 miles an hour. That changeup, such an important pitch for Cole Hamels, 20% of the time. A 191 batting average against that pitch. You'll see the curveball and the cutter as well.
Well, we get started with a strike delivered to Ben Gamel. Gamel at 322. Third in the American League, as you can see, and also with a 371 on base average. It's a pretty interesting offense that the Mariners run out there. We've talked about their evolution in recent years. Gone from kind of a station to station slugging club in previous years to a much more athletic, on base, well balanced offense this year, and the count stays 0-2 on Ben Gamel.
Gamel's done a really nice job for them. You mentioned it. 25 years old, hitting .349 against lefties. That certainly jumps out at you a little bit. You see what he's doing so far now, nearly .320 over a 16-game hitting streak.
So Hamels, 5 wins, 1 loss, and a .397 earned run average. This is 12th start. And it's 1-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Dug out of the dirt by Chirinos. They'll throw Gamel out. And there is our first out of the ball game.
Now let's take a look at the Rangers defense, which is delivered to you by Chicken Express. Drew Robinson will get a start in left. Carlos Gomez in center. Chu in right. And there he is, of course, the great Adrian Beltre with his 5 gold gloves at third. Elvis Andrus, Ruben Odor, Joey Gallo back at first. And Robinson Chirinos. We'll see a lot more of that now with him catching Cole Hamels, of course, with Jonathan Lucroy on the move to the Colorado Rockies. I think that was part of the reason that the Rangers felt comfortable moving Jonathan Lucroy. Robinson has had such a nice year offensively, of course, setting a career high in home runs. And he wasn't a true backup. I think he was getting a little bit more playing time than your average backup, but now he'll slide a little bit more into that starter's role with Brett Nicholas here serving as the backup. I got to believe we'll probably see some matchups here and there with Nicholas, the left-handed bat.
Swing and a miss, and Gene Segura in a hole. Ball and 2 strikes. Segura, you saw, second in the American League with a .323 batting average, and he's getting on. His on-base average .367. So both he and Gamel doing an excellent job of setting the table for the Mariners. And that is strike 3 call. Wow, Segura was trying to get out of the way of that one, but he goes down looking, 2 away.
Well, that certainly is a good sign for Cole Hamels to know that that part of the strike zone is available to him tonight. This is a tough call to get. You'll see a 4-seam fastball grip. Cole going up and in and hitting the glove of Robinson Chirinos, so that certainly does help. But as a left-handed pitcher, you love knowing that you're going to get this call, because that means hitters have to be aware in And when you can throw it there with any kind of consistency, it really opens up the outside part of the plate against righties for Cole Hamels.
Well, a couple of huge strikeouts, and now strike one delivered to Robinson Cano. Boy, very nice start to this one as you look at Cano's numbers. 19 homers, 68 RBIs. MVP this year in the All-Star game. And a whole 0-2.
That was an all-star game for the old-timers, right? As much as we talk about all those young players, and baseball celebrates those guys, as they should. Yadier Molina, Robinson Cano going deep in that game. It certainly was good to see.
Hamels 0-2. Cano stays alive.
Look at Robinson Cano. Dirty kid.
A pine tar, man.
Everywhere, but it's usually on the left shoulder, but then I noticed it as he was digging in. You see it there, but he's also got it on his right arm as well. He must have drove his mom crazy as a kid. What she's got over there. Poor clubhouse guys.
Oh.
Working their tails off to keep that uniform clean.
0-2 pitch. Pop foul out of play. You don't think that's easy to get out?
Pine tar.
Just shout it out, right?
Yeah, just shout it out.
I mean, look how thick this stuff is, though, because as his follow through is what's getting it on the other arm.
It's really
right. So there's where the bat rests on his shoulder, but then as he follows through, it wraps around on his right arm and it hits him, on the, I guess, all the way on the back side of it. Look at that. 0-2.
I wonder the over-under how many uniforms he actually goes through a year. There's only so much cleaning you can do. I'll have to dig in a little bit, talk to Kelly Terrell about that a little bit on the visiting side. Say, tell me about the process of getting that mess out. I'm guessing they throw that to the youngest clubhouse attendant. That's his job. Cano's in town, you got his uniform.
Near miss right there by Hamels, and it's 1-2.
Everywhere, man.
What's that crazy stuff? Goo Gone. Let's get like a little jug of that. Little tapper up the middle. Andrews behind the bag takes care of Cano, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Cole Hamels. He looks real good in the top half of the first. Now the Rangers go to work against Felix Hernandez. Let's take a look at our Southwest starting lineup. The Rangers 50 and 54. Rougned Odor jumps up to the third spot in the order tonight. And you can see the last 5 games, he's been swinging it. Carlos Gomez in center field, bat 7th. Drew Robinson with a start in left. As we mentioned earlier, Robinson Chirino is going to see a lot more time behind home plate.
And they'll be going up, as you see there, Felix Hernandez, the righty, longtime righty. Solid career. It's that one thing missing for him, of course, is a postseason appearance. Let's take a look at the arsenal that you'll see from Felix Hernandez. The velocity has come down a little bit over the years. A 91-mile-an-hour fastball. The changeup is a really important pitch for him, much like Cole Hamels. The slider has always been a good one, even though he doesn't use it a ton. A 133 batting average against his slider.
Chu jumps ahead here 2-0 against Hernandez. And that one runs tight, so 3 balls and no strikes. Chu hitting .263 with 3 walks on this homestand. Average has bumped up a touch lately. He's hit safely in 8 of the last 12 games. And there's ball 4, so he draws the walk. And the Rangers have the first base runner tonight.
Let's take a look at the defense playing tonight behind Felix Hernandez. Gamel Heredia Martin in right. Kyle Seager, Segura, Robinson Cano, and Danny Valencia in the infield. And Chooch, Carlos Ruiz will be behind home plate. 38-year-old catcher.
So base runner now, 2 with decent speed over there at first. Elvis Andrus. And he takes strike 1. Elvis has the average now at .285. One of the top 10 in the league in hits, and he's hit safely in 7 of his last 9 games. At a .317 average during that clip. Rangers dropped 2 out of 3 to the Orioles this last weekend, and now for the first time in what seems like forever, playing some in-division games, as that has been a bit of a rarity of late. They played 3 against the Angels right before the All-Star break. And these are the first in-division games since the All-Star break, and this series will take us into the month of August.
Yeah, hard to believe when you think about how much divisional play there is these days.
There's a bunt, third base side. Seager with a bare hand, and he throws Andrus out. Sacrifice moves Chu to second base.
It's a really nice play by Kyle Seager, and even though it'll go down as a sacrifice, it did look like Elvis Andrus might have been thinking base hit because it was a late square. And you see the reaction from Seager, barehanded play, perfect throw. Seager, of course, was a Gold Glove winner back in 2014. You can see why. Very nice play.
So 1 out. And it brings up Rougned Odor. You see a couple of home runs yesterday, 5 RBIs for Odor. 8 for 24 on the homestand. So he's kind of locked in right now. Or overall for the year, 22 home runs. How about 9 in the month of July, most in the American League? Hernandez really distracted by Chu, both when he was at first base, now when he's out there at second.
That's a good job by Felix Hernandez. What you don't want to do is ever throw a pitch with one of your defenders out of position, and as Segura kind of sneaked up behind Chu, he at least stepped off. That's the least you have to do. You don't have to throw the ball at second base, but you never want to deliver a pitch with a fielder out of position.
One ball, 1 strike on Odor. So batting with a man in scoring position in the first inning after a perfect top of the first by Cole Hamels. And so an opportunity here for the Rangers to strike first in this one. 1-2 the count. Rangers have done a decent job on this homestand. in terms of converting these base runners at second and her third base into runs. I think 269 on the homestand, 14 for 52. Two balls and two strikes, so Felix Hernandez walked 2 on 4 pitches. Got Andrews on the sacrifice bunt. And squares things at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Odor. So not the tightest command early on from Felix Hernandez. And Odor smashes this one high in the air. A soaring shot to right, and it is gone. Upper tank in right field. 23rd home run of the year for Odor, and he makes it a 2-0 Rangers lead.
And he hammered that baseball, didn't he? Got something up. I was just about to say, we have only seen Rougned Odor hit third once this year. Went 1 for 5 against the Tigers in Detroit back on May 21st. And Jeff Bannister decided with the way that he was swinging the bat, put him in the 3-hole again. And very nice gesture there from Felix Hernandez. He gives his buddy Adrian Beltre a big hug. Probably didn't have an opportunity to see each other before the game. Start day, of course, for Felix. Not sure we've ever seen that one before.
That's an unusual exchange.
There are a few that could get away with it. Felix Hernandez is absolutely one of them for me.
He delivers a strike to Beltre.
Thing about it, whenever you see something like that, I mean, it's a really nice gesture and a huge moment, of course, for Beltre yesterday. The only time it should ever bother anybody is if you were actually concerned about that pitcher's then, I don't want to say ability, but where he is from a standpoint of, well, I'm still getting you out, right? I don't think anybody questions that with Felix Hernandez. He is still going to go out and give everything he has against Adrian Beltre in this spot, despite the hug.
Little dance out of the box, 2-1. The count on Beltre. Saw that note. The first Ranger, the first Dominican-born player ever to get to 3,000 hits. One exciting moment yesterday. The 2-1 pitch. That ball is smoked down the left field line, but foul. Well, the home run from Odor, 437 feet. Going back to yesterday.
2 yesterday?
Yeah, the last 3 plate appearances for Odor have been home runs.
Oh my.
2-2. And there's a bouncer up the middle, base hit for Adrian Beltre. Well, another historical hit for Beltre. Now 30th by himself on the all-time hit list as he moves past Roberto Clemente.
Well, he continues to get it done. You know, the one thing about Adrian Beltre getting to 3,000, there are guys that limp to 3,000, right? Or any kind of, you know, historical marker, whether it be 500 home runs or whatever it may be. You see some guys that are sitting there, you know, just working really hard to try to get to that spot, hanging in there, not quite the same player that they were. That's not Adrian Beltre. Adrian Beltre is still playing at an unbelievably high level as he sits there and goes after all those huge names in front of him. Yeah, so just makes it so impressive to me. He's not this old dude trying to rack up a couple extra hits. He is still swinging it like he was in his prime. It's been incredible to watch.
Well, we mentioned it yesterday, the 8th youngest to reach the 3,000 hit plateau. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, how much is left in the tank, how much more we can expect to see from him as a pitch to Napoli in there, the count 0-2. There's still a desire to keep going, keep playing.
Yeah, he said he doesn't have an answer. Could be, you know, obviously he's got a contract that runs through next year. Could be a few years. He's not sure. He said, you know, as long as he's always having fun playing the game, which we see all the time, it feels like that's not there anymore. The other thing for players that they have to really evaluate with themselves is
the prep. The prep is so important. What you do in the offseason, especially as you get older, if you lose that desire to do all that work, you have to be honest with yourself, because then you're not going to be the same player come season time. That is definitely one of those kind of things you got to check off as a player and see where you are and be honest with yourself. And then if you do make that decision that you think you're done, you really want to make sure. How many times have we seen it with guys in multiple sports? They think they're done, and the season comes around, they realize how bad they miss it. A la Brett Favre, Roger Clemens, here you are again. That's the other part. Got to be really honest with yourself and try to imagine what it's going to be like outside of baseball.
Gallo with the 25 home runs. Having the count here 1-0. And he hits one high in the air out to right field. But Martin is right there. And that ends the inning. So a high fly ball by Gallo, that's all. But Rougned Odor, he hit a high fly ball. And it went all the way out. 2-0 Rangers as we go to the second. On the Rougned Odor home run. And we get going to the second inning. Nelson Cruz takes strike one from Hamels. Cruz, Kyle Seager, and Danny Valencia for the Seattle Mariners. We talked about it earlier, but Nelson Cruz, a good year offensively, 21 home runs and a league best 79 RBIs.
Is it maybe just the Seattle Mariners pine tar? Look at Nelson Cruz. What in the world? It's like somebody ran over him with their car.
See if that one catches on with other teams. Hey, I like that's cool.
I look, or somebody like ran over with their bicycle. Crusher just kept going. What in the world?
Hamels 2-1. Breaking ball swung on and missed. It's 2-2 on Nelson Cruz.
Is it like playoff beards? Everyone's got to go pine tar on their front arm.
Well, listen, there was a day where guys didn't load their helmets with pine tar, and then that sort of took off.
They didn't even have helmets.
Well, that's another good point. There's a 2-2, and Cruz strikes out swinging. Third strikeout already tonight for Cole Hamels. Well, our Kubota power stats. Cole Hamels gets a lot of run support, by the way. 2-0. A 263 earned run average his last two home starts.
Jump it up. You got two more already in this game, which is incredible. And some guys are just lucky. His overall run support average, 8.7 runs per game. He doesn't qualify right now because, of course, he missed some time with that oblique. But that would be far and away the highest in Major League Baseball.
First pitch to Kyle Seager is off the plate. Seager, left-handed hitter. 14 home runs at .262 batting average this year. Holds off, but watches a strike, and the count is 1-1.
Not only would that put him at the top, and I doubt that that number will hold when it's all said and done, but you look at run support as well, that would put him near one of the highest of all time.
Seager with a fly ball center field, and right there for it, Carlos Gomez, one away. So 2 out. Well, yeah, I mean it seems like an absurd amount of runs, and so not surprised statistically that that would bear out somehow.
Now that stat doesn't go back, that far. It's one of those ones that really they didn't start keeping track. I go back and check when they did. I think 1974 was when they started keeping track of run support average, and even different websites and places that you'll check, they do it a little bit differently. Some do it the entire time just the pitcher is in the game. Some will do it for the entire game, whether that starting pitcher remained in the game. Pretty incredible to see some of the stuff over the years.
Valencia just got out of the way of that one.
Sean Estes, all-time leader in run support average back in 2000, 8.65.
Man.
I told you, Cole Hamels right now, 8.70. So put that in perspective for you.
Chopper second base. Odor bobbles, throws to first, and it's not in time. Valencia will be on. That's an error on Rougned Odor. And it extends the inning. Boy, it looked like a very routine play. Looked like another 1-2-3 for Hamels, but just a bobble, and it hurts him.
And we'll take a look. Yeah, nothing necessarily on the bounce, and Rougned Odor will be the first one to tell you that he just missed it. Looked like maybe on the exchange. You see him, he's backing up a little bit, so the footwork got a little bit thrown off right there, but it was just on that exchange. Tried to recover, but ran out of time. And like you said, now Cole Hamels has the inning continue, and when you're out there in Rougned Odor's position, come on, man, one pitch out. This one pitch out would be really nice. I don't want to extend your pitch count any more than I have to. Pick me up here, please, brother.
So here is Heredia. He has been a tough out for the Rangers this year. .360 average against Texas pitching. And he takes a strike. The count 0-2. Hamels filling it up. Well, he's going right after these guys.
See that same pitch up and in. Same thing that we saw against Gene Segura back in the first inning. And like I said, that is great news for a left-handed pitcher, because Cole Hamels, of course, has that great changeup. And if he knows he's going to get that call against righties, and they have to be aware of that, the use of the changeup down and away will be very effective.
1-2 the count. Hamels with 3 strikeouts so far. 1 ground out, 1 fly ball out, and then that error by Odor, the 11th of the year on Roogie. One-two, and a swing and a miss. Strike 3. 4 strikeouts to the first 2 innings for Cole Hamels.
Cole Hamels certainly does look locked in, and he does pick up his teammate Rougned Odor with the punch out here on the great changeup.
Well, it is time now for the Unlimited Baseball Break, brought to you by T-Mobile. And one of the craziest things I've heard of in a long time, the Cubs are giving a 2016 World Series ring to Steve Bartman after 14 years of pain, trying to put an end to that legacy. And so Bartman's going to get a ring.
That poor guy. I mean, that whole situation ruined his life, but that's certainly a nice gesture. Steve Pearce, come on, man, 2 walk-off grand slams. You know, think about that too. I was talking about that this morning on radio. You get those situations where it's extra innings, especially the one that he hit. I can't remember which one he hit, but anyway, where you feel like as a pitcher and you're on the road, like, all right, well, I might give up one, we might lose it in a tie game, and then you give up a grand slam. That is not fun. Because Joe Blanton, was it Joe Blanton that gave up both of those?
Both?
Oh, excuse me, Bud Norris.
Oh.
Bud Norris. Not both to Steve Pearce. He gave up 2 walk-off grand slams.
Okay.
The one to Edwin Encarnacion in Cleveland. That's not an easy thing to do either as a pitcher. We talk about Steve Pearce hitting them. How about a reliever giving up? He gave up Steve Pearce's that one, and then he also gave up the Edwin Encarnacion.
All right. So he's the 5th pitcher in Major League history to give
Such
2
an encyclopedia
walk-off grand slams in a season.
You're on it.
But for Pearce, Jim Presley, 1986, Cy Williams, 1926, the other 2 to hit a couple of walk-off grand slams. Now, are you familiar with the Super Slam?
The wrestling event?
Oh. No, the dish at Denny's. No, a Super Slam.
That's a grand slam.
No, a Super Slam is when you hit a grand slam and you need 4 runs to win the game. This ball hit a ton to center field. Heredia going back near the wall, and it is gone. Gomez knocks it over the center field fence. A solo shot for him. It's 3-0 Rangers. Now number 14 for Carlos Gomez, and good to see that too. Kind of waiting for the power bats to take off for him.
Well, Felix Hernandez trying to go down and away, gets the ball away, but he doesn't get it down. And at 90 miles an hour, you see that ball spinning. Not much movement on it at all. Great job by Carlos not to try to pull that ball, but to go ahead and hit it where it was pitched. And that is a bomb to dead center.
Now Drew Robinson serves this one out to left field. Gamble ranging to his left. 1 away.
So the Super Slam is to grand slam to win it, down by 3, grand slam to win it.
Correct.
That's what Steve Pearce did. His last one, they won by 1.
That's a Super
Gotcha.
Slam. Yeah.
Home runs have been an issue for Felix Hernandez. As you see, 2 home runs already allowed tonight. Check out his home run rate per 9 innings this year. Nearly 2. That is a big number. He's been very good, very stingy with the home run over the course of his career, but not here in 2017. You wonder a little bit wear and tear. This guy's such a horse for so many years. I mentioned that velocity down a little bit. Still got that great breaking ball. Nice pitch right there, that curveball. 77. But he had an 8-year run of 200+ innings. He had a 10-year run of 30 or more starts. Both of those ended last year. He started missing time because of a calf injury.
Well, and when he was at his absolute peak, man, Cy Young Award in 2010, All-Star, like 5 years in a row. I think 6 total All-Star appearances for Felix Hernandez. Curveball swung on and missed. Strike 3. So he gets Robinson Chirinos. They'll complete it with the throw down to first base. There are 2 away. To the top of the order once again now for Shin-Soo Choo. So a 3-0 start tonight. Odor with a 2-run homer in the first. Gomez a solo homer a moment ago that went 406 feet to straightaway center field.
That's the 5th start already this season for Felix Hernandez, where he has allowed 2 home runs or more, and it's just his 13th start of the season. So 5 of the 13 he's allowed multiple home runs.
Choo hammers this ball center field. Heredia was in shallow when it's over his head. Choo goes to second. It's a 2-out double.
When this team was put together this past offseason, and this lineup especially, this is what John Daniels and Jeff Bannister imagined. A walk from Chu in the first inning, a double in the second, some home runs, Odor, Carlos Gomez, and just really putting the pressure on opposing starting pitchers very early. Nice swing there from Chu as he catches that ball out front, driving it to the deepest part of the ballpark. And there's Nick Martinez. One of the call-ups, of course, with the roster changes. He must have just got there. That's kind of like, hey, how you been? Welcome back. We'll see. Nothing official yet, I don't believe, but possibility maybe that Nick Martinez will start tomorrow. They announced that yet?
That's the tentative thinking. Yeah, it was announced that he is the probable starter tomorrow, though that could definitely change. So, and around saying hello to everybody again. Great to be back. Big smile on the face.
Always.
Oh, man.
Great to be back. Anytime you can put the minor leagues behind you and put that big league uniform back on, smiles all around for Nick Martinez, one of the nicer guys in this organization.
Line drive, base hit into left field. Around third base, Chu. Here comes the throw. Not in time. And Andrus goes to second base. An RBI single makes it 4-0 Rangers.
Every time we talk about things like secondary leads and reading the ball off the bat, obviously a little bit easier for Chu because there's 2 outs. But you see where he is when that ball is hit, and then you see how close this play is. Every step matters. Chu knows that. He's a great base runner. If he even gets just a little bit lazy on this, he is going to be out. Nice job by Chu. Great job by Elvis Andrus to drive him in. And the Rangers offense looking very good here through an inning and 2/3.
Chu agrees. Andrus to second base on the throw. He's in scoring position. Here's Odor, and he rolls this one on the ground towards second. Cano is deep, had a charge, throws to first just in time. Barely gets Rougned Odor, and that one will end the inning, although Jeff Bannister saying, hang on, we may want to take a look. They're checking up in the clubhouse. We'll take our own look.
This is great hustle by Rougned Odor out of the box. That ball is caught, and it does appear that he is out, and there will be no challenge.
Benny says let's move it on, and so we're through 2 so far this afternoon.
Well, good inning for the Rangers as they add 2 more with Carlos Gomez with home run number 14 of the season to chip in.
In Arlington, the Rangers leading the Mariners by a score of 4-0, and we hit tonight's State Farm winning combination, and who could it be focused on but Adrian Beltre? And not just Adrian Beltre, but the gifts he received. What was waiting for him in the clubhouse after he hit 3,000 after that game was a barrel of Johnny Walker Blue Scotch whiskey and a giant painting done by Vernon Wells Sr. So the story behind the painting is that it was Elvis Andrus' idea, so he kind of spearheaded that. Then the other guys on the team got the Johnny Walker Blue. My understanding is there's not actual alcohol in that barrel, but it was bottled, and then he was given a large quantity of it, and then and then they each member of the team also received a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue. So a really cool gesture by his teammates. Adrian blown away by the reaction to his 3,000th hit from inside that clubhouse and, of course, outside as well, guys.
Well, what do you get a guy who has it all and achieve something like that?
It's a tough one. I'm not a great gift giver. That's pretty good, though. Those guys got really creative. That barrel is awesome. We had made the assumption that that was full. And me and the crew were sitting up here today. We were trying to speculate how many bottles were actually in there. Larry was saying that they thought there was about 270 bottles worth of whiskey. Now we've come to find out there's actually 0 whiskey in there. But nevertheless, a really cool idea. I'm looking. I don't see our bottle. I looked around the booth today. I didn't see it. I'm sure somebody's probably holding it. They'll get it to us later.
Right.
But that is cool. That barrel's cool. Just so you know, come retirement time for me, I would be interested in that. Actually, I'm interested in that this year for my 100th game on call.
Yeah.
If you could paint me one of those.
A barrel or just a bottle?
The painted one. And yes.
3-1 to Carlos Ruiz. 1 out here in the 3rd inning. 4-0 Rangers lead. Done it with a couple of home runs already. And Cole Hamels has looked very good out on the mound. He walks his first man tonight. Put Ruiz aboard with 1 out.
Emily mentioned the painting by Vernon Wells' dad. He's done that for a long time around the game. I remember when I first broke in, every time you'd come through here in Texas, you would see some examples of his artwork. Guys were always ordering things. And his dad, some really cool pictures. He does an excellent job. There it is on the left. Very, very cool.
Block on that ball in the dirt by Chirinos.
I imagine that barrel being full and staying here at the ballpark.
Well, I just figured there'd be a little tap put on that eventually and
swing by after a win and a loss.
Gamble 0 for 1. He struck out of the first. He takes a strike. The problem with that is, of course, you need a place to put it, to store it. And they've got a lot going on in the clubhouse down there with the ping pong table and all. We have, we
got some room up here.
Unwittingly created some extra room up here, and it seems like a reasonable solution. This one fouled off to the left side, and it's 1-2 on Gamble.
I like how you think, Dave Raymond.
But listen, those are concerns and issues to be handled at a later date. By that I mean around 11 o'clock tonight. Gamble having a great year at the plate. They want it upstairs. They get it upstairs, and it's strike 3 called. Gamble down looking. He's struck out twice so far tonight.
Talk about this a lot with umpire Scott Service not liking that call, but what do you want? You want consistency, and Doug Eddings is giving exactly that, and this ball ended up finishing a strike right at the top of the zone. Robinson Chirinos was actually set up for a ball. It came down a little bit more than he wanted it, but still a great location, and it's there. That call is going to be there tonight, and at this point you really can't argue it because it's been shown.
Base hit up the middle. Ruiz will take the turn at second, but hold. And so Segura with the first hit tonight for a Mariner, and they have a couple of base runners in this 3rd inning.
And take a look here at the breaking ball from Cole Hamels. Gene Segura is such a good hitter. Kind of digging in a little bit in how he hit off-speed pitches against lefties. He's been really good against the changeup this year. So Cole Hamels decides to go with the breaking ball. Segura still able to get to it, hits himself a hard ground ball up the middle, and Cole Hamels now a little bit of work to do with 2 outs and runners on first and second.
2 away, and Robinson Cano, who grounded out in the first inning, needs a little time to settle back in. We're just underway here tonight, working in the 3rd inning. Hamill's looking good. Offense has started off well against Felix Hernandez, and of course the trade deadline has passed. A lot of teams have made those moves so they get ready for their stretch run, and one of those teams, they were looking for some help in their bullpen, the Washington Nationals, and the bullpen today may not be a big issue for the Nationals. Gio Gonzalez, a no-hitter through 6 innings for the Nats. They're down in Miami, and it's a 1-0 game. Boy, that one skips away from Chirinos, and both runners move up. I'm not sure that hit the ground. It looked like it hit a part of Chirinos' equipment. I don't know. We'll have to take another look at that. Hamels looks like laughing about it, and so is Chirinos. It is a pass ball. Here you go.
Yeah, he just missed it. And sometimes when you see that, I shouldn't say missed it, of course, just that it caught him off the thumb of his glove. You wonder if there was any kind of cross up there. That conversation went a little bit long. That is certainly a possibility.
And based on the facial expressions, I would say that there definitely was a miscommunication.
I think Cole laughing because Chirinos did not get hurt. That certainly could be a little bit dangerous. And the way that hit out of his glove, you just don't see that very often.
And one, and this one hit on the ground, second base. Odor with a nice job to grab it on a backhand. Takes care of Cano. Inning is over. Mariners leave 2 in scoring position. We played 2.5. TXU Energy power player to watch. How about this? Beltre at home, best average in the American League, 2nd highest on base percentage, OPS 4th best. Well, he wanted to get it done here at home. He did yesterday. Added a hit tonight. And he takes a curveball from Hernandez for a strike. All smiles these days for Adrian Beltre. Adrian, yeah, 3,001 hits. That is certainly the story, certainly the big number that has been trailing him around this entire homestand. But he's 11 for 23. Actually, make that 12 for 24 now with his hit tonight. Scrambles away from that curveball for strike 2.
Well, it's a tight one from Felix Hernandez, and Adrian Beltre certainly fooled by that one a little bit. Got the happy feet going, and then the smile off to Felix afterwards.
Now looks this one into short right field. Leonis Martin, a couple of steps to his left, one away in the third. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in with Dana Larson. All right, thanks, Dana. Kansas City Royals right now one of the wild card entrants for the season to end today. The Royals 55-48. They've won 9 of their last 10 games. One out here, the 1-strike pitch to Napoli. He holds off on strike 2.
Yeah, we got a great perspective here, right? This booth, obviously great view of the field, but also fans are in front of us and around us. And I just saw a jersey that caught my attention. I tried to get you to take a peek at it, too.
Karanka, Brett Karanka?
John
Karanka.
John Karanka.
Yeah. This one smashed down the left field line, hooking toward the pole and foul.
Now, Ranger fans may remember him. I remember him because actually when I was here in spring training in 2003, the Rangers had Rule 5'd him from the Cubs, but he didn't make the team, and eventually he got sent back to the Cubs, who then came back to the Rangers in 2006. So I only had spent the spring training with him. He made 25 starts for the Rangers over 2 years.
Napoli down on strikes, 2 away.
But just that's a pretty random jersey.
I know it's funny because I spent some time with John Karanka when I was working in the Cubs organization, and he was AAA.
Did you call him Brett then too, or no?
Brad.
Oh, Brad. You call him Brad.
His name's John.
Yeah.
Those of us who are close to him, we call him Brad. I still think he has one of the greatest moves for a left-handed
He had a pretty
pitcher.
good pickup move. You're right.
And it's the same thing everybody else uses, right? That 45-degree angle step toward the line. But I don't know. He just seemed to execute it better than others, or sell it better than others.
Well, it's all about the front shoulder. For the guys that can make that move look like you're throwing home, Andy Pettitte was so great at it. That's what's going to get you, where everything looks the same and you can't tell the difference between a pitch and when he's actually throwing over until it's too late. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Pretty obscure.
That is obscure, though.
31 games that he pitched in the big leagues, 30 starts, and just one that I know. Like, oh yeah, of course I know John Karanka. I remember him and remember his name. Ranger fans may. He won 7 games back in 2006 out of the 23 starts that he made. That guy has no idea we're talking about his jersey either.
He's enjoying a hot dog and taking in really a pretty beautiful night here tonight. 90 degrees, nice little breeze going. Yeah, that's the scene.
I don't think I can hear us.
Yeah, we can. That one's high, and it's 3-1. So 2 out, nobody on. Rangers have made some pretty good contact on Felix Hernandez. He has issued 1 walk. It was Chu on 4 pitches to start the game. And now a full count on Joey Gallo.
And there's that changeup I mentioned. The slider has been a great pitch for Felix Hernandez this year with the low 133 batting average against. The changeup has been a good one as well. He uses it a lot more. Just 169 against that pitch this year.
3-2 pitch, and that one down to first and through the legs of Valencia down the right field line. Gallo going to try for 2. The throw from Martin.
Wow.
Not in time. And Gallo at second base with 2 out. And he really challenged Leonis Martin's arm. Scott Service already saying, hang on. We might want to look.
What great hustle by Joey Gallo. A lot of guys hit this ground ball to the right side, especially hard right at the first baseman, and they start pulling up. But you see the 2-hopper. Valencia did not even get a glove on it, just straight through the 5-hole. Maybe nicked it a little bit. And Joey Gallo never slowed down. I love the aggressive base running. And how about Gene Segura trying to go at the in between the legs around the back tag? because of where the throw was, he thought he could get it there quicker. I'm not sure I agree, but you see what he did. Joey Gallo gets in there safely. And at first sight, it looked like, did Joey go in hard and kind of knock Segura down? He did not. It was just because he was off balance. Great throw by Martin, but tremendous hustle by Joey Gallo.
Ooh, that one in on Carlos Gomez and got a piece of his wrist or hand. Quite carom sharply off of Gomez. So after the two-base error, Gomez hit by the pitch. And the Rangers have a couple men on here for Drew Robinson.
Yeah, Carlos Gomez does not wear, if I'm not mistaken, the big arm guard. Oh, yeah, he does. I'm sorry. There it is. That's what we heard. That's why it bounced so far. My apologies. He did have that on. And that was the sound. So it should have absorbed most of it, but you can tell Carlos feeling it a little bit.
Yeah, the way that one bounced off of him, you would think you'd be in a crumpled heap if it hit you directly, so it had to hit something. Breaking ball in there for a strike to Drew Robinson.
I think what got us too is when you hear it. Check out this. It sounded like bone, but it was actually that guard that he wears, and that's why, of course, the guys wear them. Barry Bonds really put that on the map, didn't he? Remember all that armor he used to wear? Oh,
he wore a ton. Craig Biggio wore a ton.
Biggio would lean out over the plate and lean into pitches. He was hit so often. He has the record now, doesn't he?
He's the all-time record holder.
Took it from Don Baylor, is that right? I believe.
Ron Hunt, right?
Oh, Ron Hunt. Did Baylor have the single season? I always remember Don Baylor as a kid.
He had
with no armor,
right?
But his arms were armor. He was not. He was not tiny.
Gallo at second, Gomez at first. Both getting on with 2 out. 2-strike pitch to Robinson, and he hits it high in the air out to left. Gamble circling underneath it. And that will do it. So the Rangers leave a couple, and we have played 3 so far tonight. 4-0 Rangers. Rangers with the lead as we go to the 4th inning. Our cold hard facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Now the longest active playoff drought in Major League Baseball, the Mariners, 15 years.
Those two guys right there have been in the playoffs a couple of times. Scott Brocious on the left, Tim Bogar on the right.
You can see the other sports, only the Buffalo Bills and the NFL have had a longer drought. 2 balls and no strikes on Nelson Cruz.
You know, I've never wanted to say, well, I'd love to see a team get to the postseason just for a play, right? Because it's more about the team and it's a team effort to get there. But not that I ever really want to see the Mariners win the division. Well, it would be nice for Felix Hernandez at some point to get a postseason start. An appearance. I used to think that, of course, all those years for Don Mattingly, who finally got to the postseason the last year of his career against the Seattle Mariners. For the game's greatest that we've seen over his tenure.
This ball hit hard out toward right center field, drops in and races up to the wall. And Cruz will head to second base. He has a leadoff double.
Third baseman Kyle Seager.
Nelson Cruz, we know, has always been a great power guy. He gets a change up here. It's a really smart approach. You see head down, just going the other way. With some nerve, though, hitting it off the Adrian Beltre 3000 sign right off of Adrian. See him laughing with his former teammate there, Elvis Andrus. It's a nice run here for Nelson Cruz while he's here in Texas. He's coming off a year, or I should say 3 straight years of 40+ home runs. He's got 20 so far this year. I got a feeling that's going to be a streak that is snapped.
This ball whacked out toward right field. Chu goes back and it bounces off the fence. Cruz will only get to third base. Had to hold up for a second, wondering if Chu might get to it. And look at Seager's face. I mean, come on.
Kyle Seager's thinking, hey man, I got 55 RBIs. I'd like to have 56. What are you doing? Like, you actually thought he was going to catch that. And that is exactly what Nelson Cruz was doing. Now, I don't know why he was thinking tagging there. I mean, I guess at this point, though, you got to read the outfielder in this situation. And Kyle Seager's laughing about it, but he's probably not all that thrilled. Shin-Soo Choo did not have a chance to catch this ball. Not exactly sure what Nelson Cruz was doing. I mean, certainly you don't want to take any chances with no outs, but this really would have been much of a chance I would take it. I don't know, 95% of big leaguers are scoring on that. Maybe a little higher.
Well, I think probably a little higher. Yeah. Valencia takes one down in the dirt. Let's say he goes 2/3 of the way to third base, right? Only to find Chu making a miraculous catch and then banging up against the wall. You feel a little comfortable to get back, maybe, right?
Starting to wonder if Kyle Seager, he's like, hey man, don't be free to run. I wonder if he's got an RBI clause in his contract.
Oh, he does.
Nelson Cruz will have to pay the difference.
Yeah. There's a smash by third, base hit into left field. Enough to get Cruz home, and in fact that one gets past Robinson and goes all the way to the wall. Seager will score. Into third base is Valencia. 2 runs in, and it makes it a 4-2 game. Yikes.
This ball was well struck, but it got out to Drew Robinson pretty quickly. The grass here in Arlington can get a little thin. The ball can travel pretty quickly. And you'll see this thing kind of take that hop, and Drew Robinson, unfortunately, just did not get his glove down in time. I don't even think I saw an odd hop there, or sometimes we'll talk about that ball will snake sometimes in the outfield grass in Major League Baseball. All these stadiums, as great as the grass is, you'll see some of that stake movement, but that wasn't that. It was just a glove that did not get down in time.
So a single for Valencia. 1 RBI. The other run scores on the 2-base error that allowed him to get to third base. And here is Heredia. Nobody out. Couple of doubles and a single. Heredia struck out in the second inning. It's a 4-2 game. And the pitch from Hamels very high. Heredia at 276 average. You mentioned it earlier. He's hit the Rangers well this year, though, and he couldn't hold off on that one. It's 1-2. So Valencia just 90 feet away. Hamels will even the count. Mariners bring a 53-53 record into play today. They are second place in the American League West. team that's been through just a little bit this year. As this one comes inside, and that got a piece of Heredia's foot. He'll go to first. Dead ball, so Valencia has to stay at third base, but a hit batter. 4 consecutive hitters have reached in this 4th inning.
This is what we call that back foot breaking ball, where you're not actually trying to hit a hitter in his back foot. As you see this ball go down and actually catch Heredia on the left foot. The front one did hit the dirt first, but that is still a hit by pitch. But what he was trying to do was bury that ball down and in and try to get Heredia to swing over the top of it. And Cole Hamels just yanked it a little bit, and it got Heredia, as you see him hopping around there, right on that looked like left ankle.
So corners in. Leonys Martin 0 for 1. And he takes one low and inside. Martin, excellent speed. Rangers fans certainly aware of that. And a guy willing to shorten up, but maybe even squeeze a run home here. A 4-2 game. So Beltre way in on the grass at third. Bouncer, second base. Odor will go to second for 1. The relay to first, nowhere close. Not with Martin's speed. A run scores. It's a 4-3 game. Oh, Martin picks up an RBI on the fielder's choice. We'll bring up Ruiz. This has to be a bit of a frustrating inning for Cole Hamels. Ruiz walked his last time up. It was last inning.
I think it is. I mean, Nelson Cruz hit a pretty good pitch, changeup away, just took a really nice approach to it. Kyle Seager, so back-to-back guys hitting the ball hard. That ball was elevated a little bit, and even though that base hit was a hard hit, you would expect that runner to only be at first base, which keeps the double play intact. And Cole Hamels maybe trying to do a little bit too much on that breaking ball, and all of a sudden things start to unravel here just a little bit. But he's now in a position where he recovered from it, and one pitch can get him out of this with a double play. Good guy to do it against too. Ruiz obviously does not run well, and he has hit into 3 double plays this year.
Bouncer wide of the bag at third. Yeah, nice barehanded play. There you go. That's as nonchalant as you can get getting a foul ball to game. Yeah, got it. Whatever. Got it. You guys aren't excited? Runner goes. Pick off to first. They should have him to throw to second. And Martin is out.
Well, as we talk about so often with left-handed pitchers, base runners are left to guess or they try to read. And you see right now with Martin, he feels like Cole Hamels might have broken that 45-foot rule. You'll see, excuse me, 45-degree rule. Yeah, he's trying to read. And what he actually thinks based on that is that maybe Cole Hamels' foot broke the line. So as a left-handed pitcher, you can only lift your leg straight up. The foot cannot cross the rubber. Your knee can, but your foot cannot. That's what it looked like it did to me. And it's hard to tell from the angle that we saw, but it looked like Cole Hamels let the knee cross, but not his foot. That breaks that plane, you know what I'm talking about? And that's what he thinks he saw. He thought that Cole Hamels broke the plane, and that's why he took off. It wasn't a first move steal.
But I've always been under the impression that that leg has to go straight up and down. If the foot tilts underneath one way or the other like a pendulum, that it's in some way a commitment north and south, if you will, toward the plate. So even if it goes back or it goes forward. And to me, when he brought that leg up, it looked like the knee went back toward the rubber.
The knee can cross.
And that the foot then was kicked out forward toward the plate. So
yep.
to me, and again, you know, this is just, you know, it's just my impression was always that it had to go straight up and down.
Your knee can cross. Your foot cannot.
Interesting.
Yeah, you just cannot break that plane with your foot as you lift it up. Your knee can come across. And it's hard to perfect that and really get it right. But it appears that's what Cole Hamels did. See, you can tell from here. All right, so watch his leg come up. The knee could cross. And he looked away like he was pitching. It's hard to tell whether or not the foot actually crossed there. And he's pretty close on 45.
Line drive down toward that left field corner. And that one bangs up against the wall. Ruiz will turn and try for 2. The throw not in time. And so Ruiz with the 2-out double, his 7th of the year.
Left fielder Ben Campbell.
So you say, well, it's Ruiz. It's a 9-hole hitter, not a guy known for his offense. How many pitches of Cole Hamels has he caught in his lifetime? Well, they were teammates. They were teammates in Philadelphia. He has seen every trick of the book. You talk about trying to get a read on a guy. The more times you face him certainly helps. Well, the more times you catch him, you know how that fastball moves. You know what the cutter looks like, the breaking ball, all of it. The changeup. I always felt like catchers were at such a huge advantage when they were up against and hitting against their former pitchers.
Now Ruiz today has walked and doubled. In fact, that's the 3rd double of the inning for the Mariners. And they've climbed back to within a run. Ruiz now the tying run here in the 4th for Ben Gamel, who has struck out twice. It's this one on the ground left side. Beltre, though, is there. It'll throw him out. And the Mariners will have to settle for 3. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning tonight. It's a 1-run game.
Rangers leading the Mariners in game 1 of this 3-game series. Time for our progressive fan of the game, Sophia Reyes. She missed history by 1 day, but this is her first Ranger game. We decided as a consolation prize she could have the progressive goodie bag, guys.
Oh, that's perfect. There you go.
She seems to be okay with it. She
I
doesn't
think
seem that
she's
upset about missing yesterday. And she's probably looking at that microphone and saying, I'd like to get that in my mouth.
Probably,
Could
yeah,
we
looks
negotiate that a
really
little bit?
delicious. Yeah. Man, that looks good. That's something I've never stuffed in my mouth. I think that's what all babies think. Chirinos starting things off here with the 4th inning. And he struck out in the 2nd. 0 for 1. Well, Rangers offense has looked good early on here against Felix Hernandez, but suddenly back to a 1-run game. They need to add on a little bit. Hernandez with a breaking ball, and it's fouled down the left line and left field line. Oh, so cool last time.
That was missed.
Huh. It was nowhere near as interesting to get one. It's so much more interesting to miss. That is bizarre. 2-2.
Certainly a great spot. You got the chopper. You're on it, tracking it. Oh, I was going to say blame Dad, but you can't even blame Dad. You had your chance. But he's looking to blame Dad almost immediately.
Chirinos lifts one high in the air out to left. Gamble giving way to Heredia, and that is out number 1.
The Rangers will take on the Houston Astros on Sunday, August 13th, and the first 10,000 fans to the ballpark will take home a Rangers talking alarm clock, courtesy of Dr. Pepper and Brookshire's. Get tickets at TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. And that clock, of course, will be in the voice of the Hall of Famer, the great Chuck Morgan. That's going to be cool. I could have used that alarm clock today.
Yeah, I guess so, huh? Chirinos showing. Hey, there's Chuck.
Just inducted into the IDEA Hall of Fame. Yeah, so I did some radio this morning, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. On those days when I do radio, I go back and I take a nap. Tucked in at 11, set my alarm for 2. Luckily, my eyes open on their own at 2:15, because I obviously did not set my alarm for 2.
Little friendly help from your old bud Dave here. Check your alarm before you go to bed tonight, so it doesn't wake you up at 2 a.m.
Yeah, it's a good point. I will double check it for sure. You could have been doing the game solo today.
We would have found it. Trust me, we would have found it. Chu with the walk and the double. Did a real good job of keying the offense. They scored a couple of runs in the first inning. They scored a couple more in the second. And takes that one down low. 1-2 the count. Chuck Morgan, by the way, we're talking about the alarm clock that'll be in his voice and his Hall of Fame honors this year by IDEA. There he is. Chuck, the guy who pretty much designed the entire celebration yesterday for Adrian Beltre's 3,000th hit. Slow roller, second base, and a tough play at first, but Valencia, great job to stay with that throw and put out Chu for out number 2.
The shortstop, Elvis Andrus.
Well, Robbie Cano comes in, makes a nice play. The throw is on the run, and see Valencia there holding the bag. You always assume that the throw will not be on target, especially when you see one of your middle infielders running like that. Valencia does a good job of staying with that ball.
So 2 gone now for Elvis Andrus. Base is empty. But I thought that on-field celebration yesterday was parts of it orchestrated nicely, and you know, I mean, it went off without a hitch. It was really well done. Incorporated all the elements you'd want to be in a part of it. And I thought Chuck and the whole crew here really deserve a lot of credit for putting that together and pulling it off nicely.
I agree. Everything was handled exceptionally well. It was a great day at the ballpark. Great day in Rangers history. Listening to Adrian talk about it after the game, where he said, I don't know where my kids were going, what they were doing when they're running on the field. You got to do something pretty special to have your children on the field during a game. It's something that so few actually get to experience. So that was certainly a great moment. You see the big sign out there, dead center field as well.
Two-one pitch, and Elvis takes a strike. He said he thought when he saw the kids running out onto the field right at him, he was like, oh, gonna hug my kids for a second. Then they blew right past him. Like, where are they going? That had to be a weird feeling. Where in the world are they going? And then they unveiled the banner out there and right. That was pretty cool. 2-2 from Hernandez. And it's a full count. And then Adrian, of course, being Adrian, you know, the day had been marked by all the dramatics. So in the post-game presser with all the media, he hadn't gotten off a real good funny during the day, so he had to use the press conference as his stage. There's a bouncer shortstop. Backhand stop by Segura, and his long throw in time to complete the 1-2-3 inning for Felix Hernandez. Beautiful sunset on a Monday night. We've got a one-run game. Rangers as we go to the 5th inning. Our cricket, something to smile about yesterday. A pretty easy choice. There it was, history here at Globe Life Park. And this is the moment we were talking about. Here go the kids. All right, go ahead.
And of course, they ran right past Adrian.
See ya.
It's a long run, deep right center field.
Hey, congrats, Edward. We have stuff to do.
See ya.
Then they came back.
They signed up for all the exercise. It's a long run out there and back. And it was a warm day. They probably deserved the Gatorade bath after the game.
2 balls, no strikes to Gene Segura, and it's Segura, Cano, and Cruz in this 5th inning. And Hamels off a frustrating 4th inning in which he gave up 3 runs on 4 hits. An error hurt the inning. A hit batter, a fielder's choice in there as well. It's now 3-1. This is his 4th 3-ball count of the night. He was filling up the strike zone in the first couple of innings. 22 of his first 30 pitches were for strikes. This one lined over to the right side, out of play, full count.
It's been about 63% strikes for Cole Hamels tonight, 66 for Felix Hernandez. Cole on the season has thrown 61% strikes, so slightly above what he has done over the course of this year. The changeup is actually the pitch that has missed the most. He's kept his fastball in the zone 73% of the time so far.
Another foul by Segura. Segura 1 for 2 tonight. Struck out looking. He's also reached on a hit. Came in with the 2nd best average in the American League at .323. And if he got like 40 hits in 10 at bats today, he would almost be tied for the league lead. That one fouled away, and the count stays full. Good extended at bat. Jose Altuve leading the league right now by more than 40 points. Altuve at 367. Payoff pitch, bouncer over the mound, and right there at second base for it is Odor. 1 out here in the 5th inning. I want to remind you, Saturday, August 12th, we will be honoring Hall of Famer Ivan Pudge Rodriguez. You want to come to the ballpark early. We're going to have a big pregame number retirement ceremony beforehand. Plus, the first 15,000 fans are going to get a Pudge Rodriguez Hall of Fame bobblehead courtesy of Powerade and Walmart. You can get your tickets now at TexasRangers.com/Pudge and join us for what will be another memorable historic day out here at Globe Life Park.
You tell them yesterday you can unblur the plaque now.
You know, they don't listen.
I think they say that about us pretty often down there. And Chuck, you were bringing up the Astros, talking about Jose Altuve. They were very quiet at the deadline. They did pick up Francisco Liriano, but big surprise that the Astros did not try to go out and get a starter. Lance McCullers just won the DL today. That's some pretty big news. And of course, Dallas Keuchel has missed 2 months and just came off the DL. And as good as a season as they are having, and yes, they are running away with the American League West as they have this year. Some question marks, and even their general manager talked about how they were a little surprised, couldn't pull anything off. Could not get that additional starter that they really had sought. We'll see if that makes a difference come postseason time.
Fly ball out to left field. Robinson tucks it away. 2 out. Well, since you bring it up, our big story today, earlier this afternoon, was the trade deadline. Sonny Gray ended up going to the Yankees. Indians picked up Joe Smith. The Astros did acquire Francisco Liriano to help in their bullpen. Nationals trying to strengthen their bullpen with Brandon Kintzler. And of course, Yu Darvish, the news, traded from the Rangers to the Dodgers right at the last second.
The Indians need more relievers. Like, that bullpen's not good enough as it is, but they certainly saw the value in that last year and going to a Game 7 in the World Series. The big one was Sonny Gray to the Yankees, and a controllable starter that they have, not just for this year, but 2 more after that. They gave up a couple of highly regarded prospects, but not their most highly regarded prospects, and that is considered to be a win for Brian Cashman. Of course, you'll never know. You see how things play out over the next couple of years, but the Yankees have been very aggressive in making some moves, and they got good young players in the big leagues right now. So that organization looks like they're in a pretty good spot. I gotta tell you, I'd be tempted though even to give up one of my best prospects for a good controllable starter right now. They're difficult to come by.
Yeah.
On the free agent market, you're going to spend huge money. We know Yu Darvish is going to command big dollars, of course, this offseason. Good starting pitching is hard to come by. Now, Sonny Gray's dealt with some injuries, so that's been a little bit of an issue where he was a couple of years ago and kind of knocking on the door of Cy Young seasons, almost in that conversation of some of the best in the league. If he can regain that form or anything close to it, this is a monster get for the Yankees.
Well, we talk about the teams that surprised this year in baseball, and for the longest time, Milwaukee had been the great surprise. And no one could have seen this Yankees team leading the division right now, making the moves that they have made, and looking as strong as suddenly they look for the second half. It's been fouled away, and the count stays 2-2 on Nelson Cruz. Look at the American League East standings at the moment.
Especially with a bad Tanaka, or very inconsistent Tanaka this year. You know, he had that ridiculously good spring training. It hasn't been that great of a year for him, so you are even more surprised. Michael Pineda on the DL, out for the year, Tommy John surgery. You take those two things, and that alone would have told you no way they can compete without getting great production out of both of those guys. CC Sabathia's had a nice little bounce back for him. They've cobbled it together. Great bullpen.
There's strike 3 called on Nelson Cruz. Cole Hamels with a perfect top of the 5th inning. It's a 1-run game.
Game summary, and it is Rougned Odor who hit the big home run back in the first inning. 3 straight home runs that he has had now, or had in his last 3 plate appearances. You should see that bomb up top in deep right center field. Rougned Odor swinging a very hot bat. Let me take a look at what is going on here so far. Carlos Gomez chipped in as well, hit a home run to center field. That one was back in the 2nd inning, and the Mariners in the 4th. 3 doubles, which ultimately led to 3 runs, and got to the 4-3 point here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
So Rugi, a little bit of a home run tear at the moment. Some guys are streaky, some guys real consistent. If you're streaky and you're going like this, then great. Just keep going like this. How about this? 10 home runs in July. That's the most by a Ranger in a single month since Adrian Beltre hit 11 home runs in September of 2012. He waits on deck.
It's good to see from Rougned Odor. You know, the batting average and the on base down for him a little bit this year, but the power is there and he continues to get it done. That's an encouraging sign. 23 now on the year, 10 away from what he hit a year ago. Big number for him. I mean, consistently, if you can get that 30 to 35, yes, you'd love to hit 280 and have a 30-40 on base percentage, but the power coming out of the second base position. We talked a lot about how we're seeing a little bit more of that now around the game, but the Rangers have a good one here in Rougned Odor, and it's good to see him kind of answer his season from a year ago. I mean, you always wonder when you see a big power outburst like we saw from him, can he do it again? Well, the answer to that has been yes.
Lifts this one high in the air out to left center field. And after a look at one another, it is Heredia who will take it one away. Well, Adrian Beltre coming to the plate, and on Saturday, August 19th, well, the first 15,000 fans to the ballpark will get an Adrian Beltre starting lineup figurine, courtesy of McDonald's. You can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Adrian had that base hit in the first inning. That moved him past Roberto Clemente. 3,001 on his docket now. Beltre will continue to add, and just because he has hit the 3,000 hit mark doesn't mean there isn't still plenty left to shoot for. It's so much fun watching him now because he will just continue to pass other legends of the game. 1-1 the count. Just keep counting them up there. Well, we were watching Beltre come up with his 3,000th hit yesterday and put him in that elusive, or rather exclusive, group of major leaguers. 3 retired major league players were being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And Beltre had more hits than all 3 of them, had more home runs than all 3 of them, and more RBIs than all 3 of them.
That is incredible.
Isn't it?
And he even had talked about a little bit last night. I heard him talking to MLB Network Radio with Casey Stern just about, you know, the Hall of Fame and the names. When you start talking about the names and the guys that went in yesterday and the 3,000 hit guys, and you know, I think it's starting to sink in a little bit. You know, it's one thing you hear when you're leading up to it, but then sitting there saying, "Now only 31." As you see him having a little fun there with Felix Hernandez, but that's incredible. And I think he's feeling it. He's talked about it a little bit. Yeah, it's hard to believe my name is in there, but I think he is really starting to let it sink in now. And Elvis Andrus, certainly happy for him. Out on the top step. You see Martin Perez there as well. Carlos Gomez, teammates, absolutely thrilled for Adrian Beltre. A great moment yesterday. Hugs all around. See Nomar Mazara there. 16 years younger.
Yeah.
16.
Mazara was 3 years old when Beltre made his big league debut. He's 3 years old.
It's amazing.
And now he's teammates with him. Jeff Bannister's talked about it, and I don't even know if these guys necessarily know what they're internalizing, the stuff that they're taking in, being teammates with Adrian Beltre, the type of stuff that will probably just sort of emerge over time, where they'll be in a situation and they'll react a certain way, and someone will ask them about it and say, "Oh yeah, Adrian Beltre, that's probably where I picked that up." But there's a lot of that going on right now, and it's not exactly codified. It's not a program that they're going through. It's just stuff that you pick up by being around a guy like Adrian Beltre.
Yeah, very cool, of course. Whenever you get a chance to play with a legend, and I love watching this between Adrian Beltre, Felix Hernandez. But while you're going through it, you recognize it a little bit. You appreciate it, I think, even more after the fact. Things are always so different when you have the uniform on. The perspective changes a little bit.
Ooh, now they're trying to backpick him a little bit. Beltre back in there. And what is the fascination with me on the bases? Come on.
Adrian Beltre got up pretty far right there. You can see the Ruiz is not messing around. He thinks there's an opportunity. He's not doing that for fun. He thinks he's got a chance maybe to catch Adrian, keep him close.
Strike 3 called, and Napoli down looking. Third strikeout tonight for him.
But it's cool, especially when you're really young. So Nomar Mazara in the big leagues right at 20, turn 21. And anytime you get an opportunity either to have that kind of teammate or even play against guys. You know, my first year, 95, a catcher was Benito Santiago.
Wow.
Barry Larkin was on that team, Deion Sanders. Then I get traded that year. Same year, my first full year in baseball, get traded to the Detroit Tigers. Alan Trammell, Lou Whitaker, we talked about that a little bit. Kirk Gibson was on that team. And I knew Kirk Gibson from like everybody else, hitting that home run against Dennis Eckersley, right? One of the greatest highlights our game has ever seen, or at least recently. All of a sudden, he's a teammate. It's nuts when that stuff happens. Sparky Anderson was the manager of that team. You know, just for that year. Gibson retired before the season was over. Whitaker retired at the end of the year. Sparky Anderson retired at the end of that year. Like your first years, if you're really young, every once in a while you get a glimpse, maybe as a teammate or as an opponent, some pretty big names in the game. It's a lot of fun when that happens.
Nice play by our man down the right field line. There you go. Were you aware in the moment that you know, these guys were all legends, and that were you picking up stuff?
You're always picking up stuff, and not every legend and veteran is great necessarily, younger players, but most are. Most are looking to pay it forward. They know that somebody took them under the belt. We talked to Mike Napoli about that in spring training at one of the spring training events. He's really good about paying his stuff forward and appreciating the guys that were passing knowledge onto him early on. Almost all are. Every once in a while you just get a old cranky dude who's not into it. But for the most part, yes. You have a pretty good feel. I mean, for me, because there was no spring training that year. That was the strike year, 95. So I didn't go to big league spring training. I had not been around any big leaguers. I was pretty blown away when I got called up in the middle of the season, and guys that I was playing with on video games just a year before were now my teammates.
2-2 is Luis couldn't quite handle that one, but Beltre stays put at first base. 4-3 Rangers leading here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Through an inning of relief, my first time up before I had my first start, and the last out was a line out to Barry Larkin. And I remember calling my buddies afterwards, and I was like, Barry Larkin caught the last out of my inning. Like, I thought it was the biggest deal ever.
2-2 and a swing and a miss, strike 3. Gallo strikes out to in the 5th inning, and we go to the 6th tonight. Rangers leading 4-3. Rangers leading. Hey, don't miss Aaron Watson at a post-game concert Saturday, August 19th, presented by Budweiser. Rangers and White Sox that Saturday evening, and then after the game, Aaron Watson in concert. Go to TexasRangers.com/concerts for your game tickets and information on how you can see the show from the field. And here we go in the 6th. Kyle Seager check swing bouncer third. Beltre's throw across the infield in time. And he retires Seager for the first out of the inning. It looked like he lost his footing, but easily made the play.
Well, the shift was on, and so Adrian Beltre was over there all by himself, so he had a long way to run. And you see him there as he plants. Yeah, he starts to slide a little bit. That right foot popped up on him, but he still made a perfect throw. Watch the right foot right here. Looks like he's set, and then you see how it pops up, and then he slides, but still delivers a strike to Joey Gallo.
One away for Danny Valencia. I'm not saying it's the case in that particular situation for Adrian Beltre, but he is a great entertainer. Obviously a fabulous ball player. One day, no doubt, being enshrined in the Hall of Fame. Great defensively, great offensively. And there have been a handful of guys over the years who, could make the same kind of claim. Guys like Willie Mays. And so Willie Mays, he used to order his hat just a little bit bigger. So it would fly off when he would go catch or track down a ball in the outfield or race around for a double. And one time I asked Mays about certain plays that he made defensively, because he would almost routinely make plays where he would go into a slide making a catch or whatever the case, just a little flare on the end. And he said, oh yeah, no, a lot of times I could have just made the play, but I went into the slide or into the dive or, made that little extra move at the end for dramatics, for flair.
Really?
For theater. I said, you've got to be kidding me. He's like, no, absolutely not, man. He's like, the fans come out, they love to see, and then that's what he got into explaining the hat. He's like, that's why I wore that bigger cap. He's like, people loved it when I race off and the hat would fly off. So yeah, some of what he did was, done intentionally for entertainment value. I'm not saying again that Beltre was doing it there. He does a lot of stuff for entertainment value, but I guess it wouldn't surprise me in the case of a number of players if they were that way.
I think he does it just to entertain himself, though. Like it's fun for him.
And I think that you might have just nailed it right there, because that's right. Big swing and a miss by Valencia. And he strikes out for the second out of this 6th inning. All right, time for us to take a Chevy game break. The 2 away. Let's send it back to the studios with Dana Larson. Well, how many times have you heard that story? Thank you, Dana. Guy gets that close.
Had a respectable pitch count, too. He came out of the game after the fact, and Sean Doolittle finished it off. But 106 pitches for Gio Gonzalez. A very nice outing. And obviously, that's one of those ones as a manager. It's not like you're winning 5 or 6 to nothing. It was 1-0. So you're battling the whole way. And you're trying to figure out, man, when can I get my guy out of there? Do you really want him to go that far? It's an approved bullpen in Washington now, so I'm sure he wanted to get some of those arms in there. It also goes to show you as far as what the Washington Nationals are doing and with their closer situation. A lot of people thought Ryan Matson would be the guy. Sean Doolittle gets the call tonight. An interesting team, without a doubt.
We'll visit now with Hamels and Robinson Chirinos. We see a season high 7 strikeouts for Hamels. This has been part of the story we've talked about this year with Hamels, is the strikeout numbers have been down a bit, but not tonight.
He's looked sharp recently. We're seeing more swings and misses from Cole Hamels over his last couple of starts. I was looking at this a little bit, and you're right. It's only been a season high until tonight was 6. Last year, he had 12 starts of 7 strikeouts or more. 12. This is his first so far this year.
Bouncer third base. Beltre has it, takes a full turn, throws to first, and it gets away from Joey Gallo. That one goes up into the stands, too.
6, please.
Looked like a play that Beltre had, and he was so accustomed to him making this turn and throw.
Well, he had it. We'll see Adrian Beltre look like he had all day long, and this is just a throw that fell short. Joey Gallo gets caught in between. Tries to pick it, is unable to, and that'll go down as an error for Adrian Beltre, who after that streak of, what was it, 62?
62.
Has made 2 now in his last 2 games.
Yeah. And so that one allows Heredia to go to second base. So 2 out in the inning, and Leonys Martin. A couple of errors behind Hamels today cost him some extra pitches. He's getting very close to 100 now tonight. So the Rangers begin to think about their options in the bullpen. 4-3, Texas leading. Heredia at second base. Martin 0 for 2. Was driven in a run on a fielder's choice, and he waves at that one in the dirt. Matt Bush getting ready. No Jeremy Jeffress anymore out of that bullpen. Jeffress traded back to Milwaukee. Yu Darvish traded to the Dodgers. You know, last night after the ball game, Jonathan Lucroy traded to Colorado. The 2-strike pitch. There's a swing and a bouncer wide of the bag. Foul down at first. 0-2.
Hey, check this out. 2 pitches ago for Robinson Chirinos, who goes down and he blocks his ball. Does a nice job. Keeps the ball in front of him. Watch him here. As the ball started to go toward Martini, pushed him with his hand to make sure that he didn't fall over anymore and get in the way in case that runner was going. He didn't want the runner to interfere. And so Robinson Chirinos with a little bit of a box out. Basketball style, you're not supposed to use your hands, right? But use your hands there with the box out. Yeah, just make sure he doesn't fall over in case the runner tried to advance.
Good block, and now a throw down to second base. Heredia back in there. Now, of course, had he just let Martin fall across and then pick it up and try to throw it if he had to, and makes any contact with him during the throw, then it's an out.
No doubt. I think it's the reaction of, get out of my way, I might have to make a play, right? It's how he kind of looks at it. And he also saw that ball going that way, too. He didn't realize he was going to hit him and bounce back, so also maybe trying to push him out of the way a little bit. You're right, though. Had he fallen across and there's any contact on a throw, then there would be interference on the batter.
So it's just instinct as much as anything else.
Right? Yep. Get out of my way. I need that ball.
1-2 pitch. And a bouncer. Foul. We'll do it again.
He's at 101 already. That happened fast, didn't it? Seemed like it was cruising along. The pitch count, obviously, that 4th inning got a little bit long. Other than that, Cole Hamels has had some very efficient innings and has really cruised along. Now, part of that is the strikeouts as well. We mentioned the season high 7 strikeouts for him. So that's certainly going to spike that pitch count up a little bit.
Very high. Did he go? No. Corey Blazer down there at third, said he held off.
All part of the sales job by Cole Hamels and Robinson Chirinos, as we'll see here with Martin. He did go there. I believe he did. You watch that come around. They did not get the call. That barrel looked like a cross for me. See Cole Hamels there too, starting with the knuckle curveball grip behind his back every time.
2-2, and this one lifted high in the air out toward right field. Chu with the long run. Gomez joining him, and that one is off the fence right at that 407 marker. Heredia is in to tie the game. Martin heads to third, and he is in. He's rounded the bag with a 2-out triple. First of the year for Leonys Martin, and we've got a new ball game. And by the looks of things, Jeff Bannister is going to get a new pitcher.
This probably has to do with the pitch count now. Banny out there quickly and jogging, and so whenever we see that, always an indicator that this might be a conversation more than a decision. And a lot of times when managers do this, they want to just get a look and a feel for what their pitcher is saying, how he's saying it. See Robinson Chirinos there. They're talking about maybe more pitch selection in this spot, how they want to handle Carlos Ruiz, who walked back in the third and had that double in the 4th.
Interesting, because Ruiz has had good at bats against Hamels. You talked earlier about the familiarity they have with one another. A walk his first time up, a double in the 4th inning. It's a fourth extra base hit by the Mariners tonight. That triple by Martin, and there's a bouncing ball shortstop, and Elvis Andrus is there. So the inning is done. Mariners pick up an unearned run, but they tie the game, and we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, square at 4. Well, it's time for the Sonic Slam inning, brought to you by Sonic Drive-In. Our jackpot today back to $100 plus dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. Rangers today hitting for Charlotte Lyle. That's what we're going with, Charlotte. We could have butchered that, but that's what we're going with. Charlotte Lyle of Bedford. So, Charlotte, if a Ranger hits a home run, you win $100. If they hit a grand slam, you'll win an additional $25,000. Good luck, Charlotte.
I think it's Lille.
Lille. Carlos Gomez. Good rip at it. Now, this was in the 2nd inning, Gomez.
Got a little fastball away, up and away. Did a great job getting extended, crushing this ball to dead center field. Carlos Gomez, always big aggressive swings. But what I loved about that one is that he didn't get pull happy there. Stayed on that pitch, did a great job. And for him, home run number 14.
Leading off this 6th inning in what is now suddenly a tie game, 4-4. Felix Hernandez buries that one, and it is 2-1 to Gomez. He hit Gomez last time up. Look at that, the Mariners have allowed 159 home runs this year, most in the American League.
Charlotte is loving that right now. Now, you talked about, it was $1,200 yesterday. You're going to be smart with it. Put it away. No frivolous spending by you.
Well, you know.
Or no, just, you know what I mean. Just getting after it. But
I'm not going to spend it just because it landed in my lap right now.
What about the 100? Can you do it if you only win the 100? Is that easier
Probably
for you?
same thing.
Really?
It's a swing and a line
Look
drive. Out to left, and that one drops in. Base hit for Gomez. The barrel of the bat, and that one splintered. Ended up just behind the Mariners dugout, and that's what's scary. It's a base hit for Gomez. I hope everyone's okay.
7 rows deep that bat went, and yes, that guy is smiling and laughing about it, so that's good news. And Carlos Gomez gets jammed on this ball, but strong enough to get it into the outfield. Still the same swing, but it's a matter of where that ball actually hit the bat. What is scary about that, and you watch the replay, and I was actually watching the head of the bat. Everyone's looking at the ball. So what happens, there's the guy right there. Got him, and I saw it get him, but he is laughing about it, thankfully. But at that moment, and this is what gets so dangerous, you see the ball. All the fans at that moment were looking out to left field, so nobody realized the bat was coming till the very end.
Maybe a flesh wound.
Unfortunately, ended with a smile. And the storytelling. Everybody, did you see how close it got to me? Whew.
Gomez on. And toss over to first. Keeping an eye on him. Mark Zubczynski. It looks like he has done most of his preparation already. Well, maybe set to come in here in the not too distant future. Hernandez at 93 pitches so far tonight. Gomez a threat. Takes a good lead at first. A little bit of a lean, but not going. And that one is outside. It's 1-1. Robinson twice is flying out to left field. Robinson Chirinos waits on deck. He's 0 for 2. Hernandez, he's been deliberate about those base runners today. Misses outside.
Stolen bases really haven't been an issue. Just 2 allowed this year by Felix Hernandez in 2 attempts. So he's done a good job. Has not had base runners be aggressive against him. Quick to the plate, does a nice job. Ruiz is still a good defensive catcher. Good arm.
Gomez this year 8 steals in 12 tries. A 4-4 game 6th inning.
As much as we talk about defensive shifts, I can't remember seeing the first baseman that far, or excuse me, second baseman that far over. Robinson Cano is pretty. There is not much of a gap at all. Once this pitch is thrown and Valencia comes off the bag the way he's supposed to hop off the bag, there's almost no room between him and Robinson Cano. And we see second basemen go deep, right?
Sure.
It's one that we see him go deep in the outfield, but you see him there. Now, the way it works, once you know that your pitcher is going home, once Danny Valencia sees that left foot of Felix Hernandez up in the air, which means there's no chance he's throwing over, he has to be aggressive and hop over and basically end up where Carlos Gomez is right now. I'd say impossible to get a ball in there.
Gomez runs, the pitch a strike, the throw to second, got him. 2-6 caught stealing.
Gomez wants Jeff Bannister to take a look and put the phone call in and see whether or not he got that hand in there. I just mentioned Reese still throws well. Felix Hernandez does a nice job of being quick to the plate. We'll see it here. Watch that hand, and looked like they might have got him on the shoulder. Get a better look at it right here. Let's see if that hand got in. Ooh. Really close. I'm going to say this doesn't get turned over. I blew it yesterday. I hope I blow it again. I think they got him.
Well, they're going to take another look at it. Rangers challenging the call on the field. So whatever it is that they see on replay, and they do have additional looks in New York that we do not have, it has to be enough to convincingly overturn what they called on the field. So that's always a, the burden of proof here, of the evidence, is significant when you're trying to overturn it. Gomez having fun out there at second base, thinks he's safe. And it's a pretty big review. I mean, we're in the 6th inning. Hernandez is tiring just a little bit, even though the Mariners had that bullpen going. But this is, generally speaking, once you get into teams' bullpens, it's when things get a lot harder to score that one important run. Well, that was a quick review, and it confirms what was called on the field. So Gomez indeed is out, and the Rangers are out of challenges. Ball stands. Meanwhile, Robinson took a strike, and it is a full count. Hernandez to the plate, and there's a swing and a bouncer foul. We'll do it again. That's low. And ball 4. So Robinson heads down to first. Now, it's obvious. When you look at it now, you think, well, I wish we wouldn't have run. Now, there's no guarantee that the bat turns out the same. But it would have been awfully nice to have 2 men on, nobody out. Instead, it is Robinson at first with 1 away. And here comes Chirinos. Now this next pitch from Hernandez will be number 100. And Chirinos takes it for a strike.
It looks like we're seeing Felix Hernandez kind of go to the off-speed stuff a little bit more here lately. 3 walks now for him tonight. Just 4 in the previous 123 division batters faced right here in the American League West.
Not for nothing, but somebody had to scramble to do that research in a hurry.
Yeah, they did.
We're talking specifically in the division.
We missed nothing here.
Well, he looked a little rocky early on. Rangers got a 2-run homer in the first inning. Gomez had another home run in the second inning. They scored 2 in the frame. And who knows, you weren't real sure that Felix Hernandez was going to go real deep in this thing, but here he is in the 6th inning battling. His team has come back to match those 4 runs. He's ahead of Chirinos 1-2.
And you see him at 102 pitches, and of course we showed the bullpen and Mark Zepchinski getting ready. 107 is the season high here for Felix Hernandez. Of his 12 starts so far this season, he has only seen triple digits 3 times, and in 2 of those it was exactly 100 pitches. So he had 2 at 100 and 1 at 107. So he has not been putting up the high pitch count totals like we have seen him do in the past. I mentioned it earlier. An incredible run of 8 straight years of 200+ innings. 10 years of 30 or more starts. And I don't know. He had 249 innings back in 2010. I don't know if we'll ever see that again. You don't see anybody throw 249 innings in a season?
Well, I
don't know if we're going.
Doesn't seem likely. But I wouldn't have bet that he would have done it. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, he's been a horse.
Maybe.
He was a horse over the years, and that was 7 years ago, back in 2010. He's also got 4 other seasons where he threw at least 230. I just don't see it.
Robinson at first. And they'll throw over there and chase him back in.
Verlander's a guy that gets up there. Any idea what the total was last year? Most innings pitched in the big leagues? If you were to guess.
Most innings pitched.
So I mentioned that 240 plus for Felix Hernandez. 249 back in 2010. What did the league leader throw last year in his 35 starts?
Let's say 211.
Come on, 211?
Yeah.
230.
Okay.
David Price.
It's Chirinos. Well, it's okay.
Isn't that much of a drop off? Changeup grip here from Felix Hernandez, and so even though it's only a changeup, that hit Robinson Chirinos square on the elbow. It still hurts. You heard it.
Hernandez obviously not happy with that one. And neither is Scott Service, so they're going to go to the bullpen, and will be talking to himself for a little bit longer tonight. Has to give up the baseball in a tie game and responsible for the 2 runners on base. Mariners into the pen in the 6th.
AT&T high-speed replay. We're going to put it on Shin-Soo Choo and the great base running he had here. You watch at 2.7 seconds before he gets to third base. Good turn around third, gets there just in time, and the good news is he did not get beamed up to space after that, even though it did look like it as he was going around the bases. But nice job by Choo all the way around. Good secondary lead, good jump on that ball, and an important run right now is we were sitting in a tie game here in the 6th inning. You saw Felix Hernandez pretty frustrated that he came out of that game, but you can understand Scott Service doing that after a walk, or a hit, a walk, and then a hit by pitch. And Mark Zepchinski, the lefty, will take over, getting ready to pitch now in his 40th game. 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Slider will sit around 85, and he does have a changeup. Sits around 87 miles an hour.
Choo bounces it right back to him. He'll go to second base for one. The throw to first from a knee, not in time. Choo beats it out, keeps the inning going, and the Rangers have him on the corners with now 2 out in the inning.
Mark Zepchinski looked like he was surprised that he caught this baseball. So he throws the first one, he sticks his glove out. He's like, oh yeah, there it is. And probably the throw is what cost him. And what you're taught in those situations as a pitcher after you catch that ball is keep your feet moving towards second base. It gives you the best chance of delivering a good throw. He turned and threw it right away, but the throw was down. Segura caught the ball, but because the throw was not in a great spot, a difficult turn for him, and he tried to rush his throw, and that's why they did not get the double play.
So they're on the corners now for Andrus, and he'll turn this one foul. Oh, there's 1 for 2, also with a sacrifice bunt back in the 1st inning.
Respectable splits for Mark Zepchinski. As you see the numbers for Elvis Andrus, they were runners in scoring position. But Zepchinski 229 against lefties, 250 against righties. He has been excellent with his inherited runners this year. He's taken on 2 so far, 30 on the season, and only 4 have scored.
1-1 the count. I feel like, it's funny. It's one of those things we've gone to a couple of times recently where we've seen something as dramatic, something as impressive as that right there. 26 of 30 stranded, only to then see that guy give up a couple. Sometimes it's been a Rangers pitcher, sometimes it's been an opposing pitcher. Right now Zepchinski has a man at third, a man at first, and this one fouled away for strike 2 on Elvis Andrus.
It's a stat that I think has some value. Sometimes it's out of your control, or you come in with runners at second and third, nobody out. Pretty impossible situation, but I do like that stat to some degree. If you're a dominating guy or you do a good job of limiting contact, if you're a swing and miss pitcher, then obviously those numbers will be a little bit better, but it is also somewhat team dependent.
Pitch to Andrus, and that one in there. Strike 3 called. Elvis not at all happy. Leaves a couple of men on the corners. We go to the 7th inning tonight. brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer now during the Ford Summer Sales Event and see why Ford is the best in Texas.
Well, here we are, top of the 7th inning, all tied at 4, and there is Adrian Beltre, the big day yesterday, recording hit number 3,000. Already has one today, now 3,001. But check this out, the Fort Worth Zoo tweeting out congratulations to Adrian Beltre, and they have, in his honor, named a new giraffe calf Beltre. There he is, and you can't touch his head either. Not allowed to. So make sure you get out there to the Fort Worth Zoo, and if you can't visit the real Adrian Beltre, you can visit that one.
Oh, yes, here we go.
I'm really hoping. I think it'd be great if Adrian could somehow find a way. Busy during the big league season. I get it. Day off, something. Get over there and get a picture with Beltre. That would be a pretty cool photo op.
Or Beltre could come over here and get a picture.
Yes, that would actually be even better. And then everybody else could take a picture with the Beltre of their choice.
Pick your Beltre. There you go. I think you're onto something. Well, Matt Bush has come on to pitch in this 7th inning. Hamill's done after 6. He gets the top of the order.
There's that pitch arsenal. Great fastball from Matt Bush, the slider and the curveball. Elevates a fastball. I talked to him the other day. I was asking about the off-speed pitches a little bit, and he said that slider, for most of the time this season, has been a little bit more of a cutter. He had it smaller and tighter, and at times we would see that thing at 92 miles an hour and be pretty filthy. He talked about working on getting a little bit more tilt on it, making it a little bit more like a slider. He said he likes both of his off-speed pitches equally. The curveball, he loves the downward action that he gets on it to get guys off of his fastball. And there it is right there. That curveball, it's got really good depth at 81 miles an hour. But he also talked about, it was interesting because the conversation you and I have been having with him is about elevating those fastballs. And he said, yeah, well, with 2 strikes, I can't be throwing those up there, 0-0 counts. Those are balls. Yeah, you get guys where they're in swing mode, and that's the time that I'm trying to go up there. But I'm still trying to work downhill and throw good quality pitches down in the zone early on. And then the finish off hitters is when I really want to elevate. But he had said last year when he was in the minor leagues, he was really making it a point to try to stay tall and work down, which of course every pitcher tries to do. And when he does locate that fastball, whether it be down and away, down and in at 98, it is pretty nasty. But as much as we've talked about elevating, he said, yeah, but later in the count when I'm trying to finish hitters off.
2-2 off the plate. And a full count on Gamble. Gamble, Segura, Cano, top of the order for Seattle in this 7th inning.
See that there? That's pretty impressive. .431 batting average against on fastball. That is the best in the big leagues for Ben Gamble.
And that heater just a little low, so he walks Gamble. Mariners have the lead man on in the 7th inning.
Well, tomorrow night is your next chance to take advantage of Fox Sports Southwest $10 Tuesday. Tickets for the Rangers game are just $10, and fans can add on a $10 meal deal when purchasing online. Visit TexasRangers.com/specials and use the coupon code FSSW10. That's tomorrow, buddy, against the Mariners.
And middle game of the series, Doug Brocail out there to have a word with Matt Bush. Of course, after this series with the Seattle Mariners, the Rangers will be back on the road. I started looking at the schedules and the remaining 2 months of the season, and pretty interesting. Not as much for the Rangers as it is for the Mariners. The Mariners have been home almost non-stop lately. But holy smokes, in August, they're on the road all the time.
I mean, all the time. Not the whole month.
Darn close, partner.
Come on.
They have 1 homestand in the month of August.
Really?
Yeah.
That's incredible. Well, interesting note here. We like to look at fastball velocity. Gene Segura on right-handed fastballs 96 and higher. 0 for 8 this year. He's yet to record a hit on a high velocity fastball. Matt Bush obviously has a high velocity fastball. But be a little bit careful. Nelson Cruz a couple hitters away. 8 for 16. Good for a 500 batting average on good fastballs. We know he's a good fastball hitter, but also has been good against the high velocity fastball.
Oh, big swing and a miss. It's 1-1.
Now, as much as that's interesting, and I like looking and digging that up, I'd be more interested in that right there, right? So Gene Segura swings and misses at that pitch. That doesn't get recorded in the batting average. Batting average is, usually the way that the balls are put in play. I'd like to see how many times they swing and miss through those pitches in general.
Well, that one just a little bit in.
Or make it out on the pitch. That's where I'd like to see all that kind of come together.
Surely there's somebody who does that.
Maybe. I haven't figured out how to get to that yet. Baby steps. You can get lost on some of these sites.
Yeah, no, I know.
Spend a lot of time.
Gamble is on. 3 steals this year in 3 tries. Segura 1 for 3. He's worked himself ahead of the count here. 2 balls and a strike. That is ball 3. Chirinos offering a little mechanical help right there. And Alex Claudio loosens up.
Some rumblings today about Alex, and maybe some teams making some inquiries about his availability. We are all very happy to see him in a Texas Rangers uniform tonight after the deadline passed at 3 o'clock Central Time, the trading deadline, of course, we're talking about.
Full count on Segura now. Yeah, that was one. It was just so funny because, the Dodgers, they traded for Darvish, and then there's this talk about, the Dodgers picking up some left-handers from the bullpen, and then somehow that got twisted up into there was a left-handed reliever worked into the deal. Now, it's like that game of telephone. 3-2 pitch, and this one lined up into the seats foul. But it was one of those where I thought, geez, you got to be kidding me. It's Claudio. He's like my team MVP.
He's been a huge part of the bullpen, no doubt about it. Has slid in at times into that closer's role. Done an excellent job. His efficiency, 12.5 pitches per innings pitched. So much that Alex has done. The biggest thing for me is the confidence that Jeff Bannister has in him to put him in any spot, any situation.
Now back toward us. Stays 3-2 on Segura. Those last 7 games.
That's pretty good. No walks, 2 hits, 77 pitches. Imagine that as a starter. Do that all in one shot. You got a shot at a complete game and staying under 100.
Go 11 innings if you need to.
The Maddox, right? Isn't that what they call a Maddox? Complete game under 100 pitches.
No.
A Maddox. I think I see too many of those.
3-2. Little fly ball out to right field. Chu handles it, and that is out number 1. Well, tonight's game is on AFN, the American Forces Network, now in its 75th year of broadcasting to American military personnel overseas in more than 107 countries, and on naval ships at sea. Welcome to those watching tonight, and thank you for your service. That's it for Matt Bush. That's one out, leaves a man at first base. Robinson Cano coming up. And so the Rangers go to the bullpen in the 7th.
Big news of the day today was the Yu Darvish trade. Darvish traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Here are the details on the players the Rangers received in return for Darvish. There you see his numbers and who we get back. Willie Calhoun was the headliner, a second baseman who will primarily play left field now. A.J. Alexy and Brendan Davis, all three ranked in the top 27 of the Dodgers prospects. I talked to Adrian Beltre about the decision to trade Darvish, and he admitted he was disappointed. Feels like this team has a potential to go on a run, and then that would be a little bit easier with you, Darvish. But he said nonetheless they've got to go out and win ball games with or without you guys.
I see what you did there.
I know that song.
Yep, caught that one. That's good.
Hard to get that one out of your head too once it gets in.
Pretty good. Here's Robinson Cano with Alex Claudio out of the bullpen here. So Bush, interesting, faced 2 hitters and then taken out of the game. So that's unusual. Don't see that very often. There's a balk, and that sends Gamble to second base.
Quick look at the pitch arsenal for Alex Claudio, and you see right there that, of course, Jeff Bannister upset with that call. I believe that they said that Alex did not stop. I'm sure that was the call. Let's take a look at it. Watch him. You know, Alex has all that movement, and you see how the hands. There's never that complete stop. Even though he stopped his movement, there's just that little bit where he does not completely hold. And that is part of Alex's mechanics. Just has to have a little bit of a more obvious stop in there. You could tell when in his mind he stopped, and there's such little movement. The umpire wants to see a complete stop.
This one hit sharp on the ground. Nice diving stop by Odor, and he throws out Robinson Cano. And that's some kind of defensive play by Rugi.
Man, that was incredible. Robinson Cano squared this baseball up really well, and it did appear that it was headed for right center field. You see the full extension, the clean pick, the nice throw. By the way, Robinson Cano making that turn into Joey Gallo. You got to be very careful there. Yeah. Joey Gallo goes to make a throw, and that's going to be interference, and the inning is going to be over. See the point of that, but Robinson Cano, but more importantly, look at Ruben Odor making it look easy, and the reaction from Alex Claudio. And you wonder how things may have been different. The runner was still on first. You know, would Ruben Odor actually be a little bit more shaded to right? You know, with Joey holding the runner on and trying to cover the right side. You never know exactly how things will work out, but nevertheless, doesn't matter. It's a great play, and it's 2 outs, and now we see an intentional walk to Nelson Cruz.
So he's at first, and now Seager. You and I playing a lot of imaginary baseball today. Coming up with
yeah. What if?
We want to redo. Breaking ball to Seager, taken for strike 1. Cruz didn't get much of a chance to see him there at the plate. In fact, I don't know if he even paused at the plate. Well, they give those intentional walks. Guys just move right on down. Seager 1 for 3 with a double a couple innings ago. It is now 1-1.
He's got good numbers against lefties. 300 this year. That batting average for Kyle Seager. 260 against righties. He's really come on, especially as of late. Remember we saw him earlier in the year. A little bit of a power outage for him early on. He's got 14 home runs now. Even though we throw those averages out there, Alex Claudio is not your typical lefty. It is a completely different look than what you see from your average lefty. You got to kind of take that into account a little bit. All right, so obviously I was wrong. I said 300. That says 266. And there's Alex with the great numbers there. He's absolutely hammered lefties. 131. Just a 1 home run allowed for Alex Claudio against lefties this year.
Little flare up the middle, and brother Andrew's going to have to race to the bag, and he gets there in time to get Nelson Cruz. Well, that ball just kind of fluttered up there forever. But Elvis makes the play, and we go to the bottom of the 7th.
Martians witnessing Craig.
High score here now between the Mariners and the Rangers. Let's take a look at the defense here and Rougned Odor, the great play that he made in this last inning. A great view you're going to get of it here. Smoke ball, one hopper. Not only that, when it bounces up too, it comes up pretty high. Full extension by Ruby. Calm, cool, collected, and the perfect throw. And then Elvis Andrus to finish off the inning, playing on the second base side of second base, and he had to wait. That ball almost looked like it went up the ramp, like up the pitcher's mound, and it jumped up, and then the high bounce, and he had to beat Nelson Cruz to the bag, and he did. So a nice job by the Rangers defense to get them out of that seventh inning.
Now they preserve the tie 4-4. And now in the bottom of the seventh, it'll be Odor, Beltre, and Mike Napoli. Zapczynski puts that one in a little low. It's 2-0. 4 runs, 6 hits, the same for both teams. Rangers also committed 3 errors today, but they managed to keep this game tied. Both teams have stranded 7 runners. Zapczynski's 2-0. It's in there for a strike. Odor, when he homered in the first inning, that was 3 consecutive plate appearances in which he had homered. Going back to yesterday's game, his final 2 times hit home runs. It's 23 now for the year, and bounces this one to the ground right side. Cano, though, is there to pick it up. And Odor is the first out of the inning.
Third baseman, Adrian Beltre.
That'll bring up Adrian Beltre. But not before we get a new pitcher. Scott Service will go into his pin. Zapczynski is done. A right-hander, no doubt, coming on when we come back. And Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Homes for Our Troops, building mortgage-free, specially adapted homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. Learn more about how Homes for Our Troops is rebuilding lives by visiting foxsportssupports.com.
Oh, David Phelps now in the game, getting ready to pitch his 49th game of the season. He was traded over to the Seattle Mariners from the Miami Marlins back on July 20th. A guy who has been both a starter and a reliever in his career. This is the first season where he has exclusively pitched out of the bullpen. Right-hander's got a good fastball, 95 miles an hour. A slider at 82 and a curveball at 83.
And there's a breaking ball to Beltre for a strike.
Done a good job. Respectable 205 opponent's batting average. That's against the first batter he has faced, and the first one he's got here tonight, a tough one in Adrian Beltre.
Beltre hitting a walk so far tonight. And you see 4 for 9 against Phelps. So somewhat comfortable against this right-hander. Big rip there. The count 1-2. Well, Adrian, 38 years old, his 20th year in the big leagues. And a special milestone yesterday, and now just moving up the charts as the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 2 away in the 7th inning.
Well, after the swing before, David Phelps decided to go ahead and elevate the fastball up and away to Adrian Beltre. You saw him chase one earlier in the at-bat, and then that 2-strike count decides to go forward again. Good execution there by him, and a tough strikeout against Adrian Beltre. Not easy to get.
So now Napoli, who is 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Napoli came in at 203 for the year, but with 22 home runs. And he's ahead here, 2-0. Opening game of this series, Rangers took a 4-0 lead behind Cole Hamels, who was really sharp early. Hamels ran into just a little bit of trouble in the 4th inning, allowed 3 runs. There was an error behind him. In fact, the Rangers have made 3 errors tonight. A 2-0. Bender in there for a strike.
David Phelps not taking any chances. We know Mike Napoli is a great fastball hitter. Not going to give in a tie game in the 7th inning, and so that's why he goes off speed 2-1. You're a little bit more comfortable maybe with the 2-1 fastball after you flipped at least one breaking ball in there.
There's the fastball for a strike. It's 2-2.
Almost painted outside too, and so after falling behind 2-0, David Phelps has made some pretty good pitches here against Mike Napoli. Nice numbers though for Nap. 4 for 8 with a long ball against Phelps.
Inside, full count. Yeah, those numbers a shade better than even Beltre's numbers against Phelps. But Scott Service felt like he was the right man for this spot. Brought him in for Zipchinski, who finished last inning, got the final 2 outs. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and Napoli takes ball 4. So Rangers have a very important base runner here in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's time for a Chevy game break. Let's send it back once again to Dana Larson.
First baseman, Joey Gallo.
All right, thanks, Dana. So New York came in with the half-game lead in the American League East. Big winners at the trade deadline by acquiring Sonny Gray, and they win today. So Joey Gallo now, he is 0 for 3. 4-4 ball game. Last to the 7th. Very small lead for Napoli. They need to pay very close attention as that one in there for a strike. It's 1-1. Valencia holding him at first, but Napoli takes about a stride's lead off the bag.
And he's definitely not going anywhere. Talked about Ruiz and still throwing it well. We saw him already make a really nice throw against Carlos Gomez, and Napoli, of course, not known for his speed. So taking no chances. Certainly the right plays. We'll let Joey Gallo swing it, see if we can hit one out of the ball.
Way in. 2-1. Certainly, that's the idea when you get Joey Gallo up late in the game, especially a close game like this. Is he's a guy who can change it rapidly with that one big swing. 25 homers this year, and there is the big swing. But he just missed, and the count 2-2. Phelps gathering himself here, 2 out. Man at first. And that one is wide. So it's a full count. Gallo leads his team with 25 home runs. He's 7th in the American League. So he hits as many home runs as just about anybody in the game. He also hits them as far as anyone in the game. When he hits it, you know it. Napoli with that small lead with 2 outs, 3-2 pitch. He's running, and there's a swing and a miss. Strike 3. So Gallo strikes out to end the threat in the 7th. We go to the 8th. Still tied at 4. And we take a look tomorrow, our AT&T matchup. And these Mariners coming in at 500 in this series. Gene Segura, one of the best in the American League, against the Rangers, and Adrian Beltre, the reigning American League Player of the Week. Oh, should be some fun again tomorrow. You look at the standings in the American League West. The Astros continuing to run away with things, but Seattle 16 games out, playing 500 ball. And then the Angels and Rangers 18 back. Oakland drifting further, and now no Sonny Gray.
Yeah, interesting to watch. You know, we thought maybe there'd be a possibility that before the season started, 1 or 2 teams coming out of the American League West, besides just the division winner, but potentially 2 wild card teams. It was looking like it was going to be a very strong division. The Mariners made a lot of moves. The Angels are always pretty competitive. When you have the greatest player, one of the greatest certainly in Mike Trout, you expect them to contend. And the Rangers absolutely expected to be contending. Hasn't quite worked out that way. They certainly will still have a shot, even though there's been some moves and some big pieces on the way out. You never know. Jeff Bannister certainly is not going to allow these guys to give up until they are mathematically eliminated. That's what he's talked about. So we will fight every single day until it literally is impossible for us to make a spot in the postseason possible.
We see 5 games out on the wild card. A bouncer by the mound. Second base, Odor scrambles to regather that one up, and he throws out Danny Valencia. 1 out in the 8th inning.
Jeff Irugi here. You see the ball. That one bounced on him a little bit high, and he caught it at the heel of the glove, and you see it skip out, but a good recovery and a good throw. Not a lot of margin for error. You know, Robinson Trinos had a really nice year. Right? We talked about it offensively, so he's going to get some more time. So you start wondering, okay, what's the real difference now with some big names that are gone? Yu Darvish, without a doubt, it's a big loss. It was the decision John Daniels made. It makes sense. You get it based on where they are in the new free agency compensation rules, and it was a smart play. No two ways about it. 3 prospects coming back from the Dodgers. I'm a believer in if one of those guys becomes a regular at the big league level, it's a really good trade. Your scouts did a really nice job.
On to right side. Odor to his left, hustles it over to first. 2 up, 2 down.
For me, that's what it takes. Do you expect all 3 of those guys to be big leaguers? You do not. Do you expect them to even be impact? No. But if you get one that is a regular at the big league level, then you guys did a good job. This is why you go for 3. You hedge your bets, and you know it doesn't always work out where all 3 are going to get to the big leagues. But if you get one, then you did a good job. One regular big leaguer out of that group right there is better than you're probably going to do with your 1 draft pick that's going to be pretty late, somewhere around 70. So it is the smart move if you're struggling a little bit and wondering why they would do that. Now, the other thing I was thinking about today, the Rangers are 9-13 in Yu Darvish's starts this year. 4 games under 500. Will he be missed every 5th day? He absolutely will. There's no two ways about it. But based on who they put in there, AJ Griffin, Nick Martinez, whoever it may be, can they have a team record of near 500 while they make their starts? It is certainly possible. And so if you're sitting there thinking, man, well, gosh, a couple of really big pieces are gone. There's, you know, the quality of the baseball is going to go down. I say not necessarily. That is not necessarily the case, depending on how the other guys who get opportunities perform.
Chopper, first base. And Gallo with the easy play completes a 1-2-3 inning for Alex Claudio. Shocker, did it on 7 pitches. Baseball is brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. Pretty even so far tonight. 4-4 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Bottom of the order coming for the Rangers. Carlos Gomez, who homered earlier tonight, and Drew Robinson and Robinson Chirinos. Monday night, opening game of this series. Big homestand for the Rangers. It's been a memorable one as Gomez takes a big swing. Would help to end it with a bit of a flurry in these 3 games against the Mariners. One of the teams ahead of them in the wild card standings and division standings, as we just pointed out. 0-2 the count on Gomez. So I was talking earlier, CJ, about the schedules. This is the beginning of a 3-city trip for Seattle. After their stay here in Texas, they will move on to Kansas City for a 4-game series, then go to Oakland for 2. All right, so that's how they start the month of August.
Okay.
Nothing, that's not remarkable. That's just a nice long trip, 9 games. Big swing and a miss, and Gomez strikes out. And that's how we start the bottom of the 8th. Then they go home for 7. But then this is where it gets interesting. They will end August on a 4-city trip.
Oh, really?
Yes. They go to Tampa Bay, Atlanta, New York, and Baltimore. So the dog days of summer, August, they'll go to 7 cities.
You said Tampa. What was the last?
Tampa Bay, Atlanta, the Yankees, Orioles.
So all 3 time zones away on top of that for the Seattle Mariners. And you saw that graphic now, 3 games back of the wild card. 4-city trip. How many days? How many games? 11?
Let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12.
12. Okay. So they're playing the Braves for 3, or somebody, one of those other guys for 4. Okay.
Yep, they're playing everybody for 3. And
boy, that's a hang with them there.
That is a hang with them.
How many suitcases?
So,
I've never heard of that before.
I haven't either. Unless you're accommodating an amazing event in your city. And we've seen that before for Republican or Democratic national conventions, those type of things. But yeah, 4 cities.
Westminster.
That's
a couple weeks long.
Something big like that.
It used to be like that in the minor leagues when for the Omaha AAA team. You familiar with Omaha, Nebraska?
Yeah. Some pictures.
Yep. So they
nice zoo.
They would have to be on the road for solid 2 weeks, because at least for the College World Series back in the day. Now the ballparks are separated, but the AAA team used to play out of Rosenblatt, the old College World Series ballpark. Now they have, what is it called, TD Ameritrade Park, whatever it is.
Do neither of them play at Rosenblatt now anymore?
No. That park is brutal. No, the AAA team, the Omaha Storm, I believe they're called, have their own ballpark, and then there's the ballpark where Creighton plays their home games. But same thing, you'd have to go on the road AAA for a really long time. I think it was 2.5 weeks.
The Omaha Storm Chasers.
Storm Chasers.
Yeah, they used to be. They were the Golden Spikes at one point. The Royals.
The Royals, when I played against them. That ballpark was tiny.
Well, I don't know if it was tiny so much as the wind just howled out to center field.
I mean, my first AAA start there led up 2 solo home runs, or 2 home runs, 1 2-run, 1 solo, to the same guy.
Who was that?
Les Norman. There you go.
Seems like you've adjusted well, though, gotten over it.
I remember it. That's for sure.
Is that what woke you up from your nap today?
Still sweating.
There's Chirinos 0 for 2.
The Les Norman nightmare.
Phelps pumps in a strike, so a couple of strikeouts to start this 8th inning. Now 0-2 on Chirinos.
They always come back to haunt you. We were in Tampa. I ran into Alex Ochoa. You remember Alex Ochoa, the player, then coach with the Red Sox, now works for Scott Boras. Didn't recognize him at first. Came over, hey, CJ, how you doing? And as soon as I was talking to him, I certainly right away remembered. He had 2 home runs off me in a game in Toledo in '96. That's probably why he sought me out.
Chirinos goes down looking. Boy, a quiet bottom of the 8th for the Rangers. So the 9th inning, here we come.
Arlington between the Rangers and the Mariners. And maybe you are doing this right now, watching every At a Market regular season game. Well, you can do it live on MLB.TV Premium on over 400 supported devices. Plus, you get a free subscription to AtBat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Visit MLB.TV for details.
I think they could be watching every At a Market game all at the same time.
Yeah, I go Apple TV when I'm home to watch it.
Oh yeah,
That use the app that way. That's a pretty good one for us.
do you ever go with the multiple games at one time?
Well, you can do that on your laptop or on your desktop.
Oh, you can't do it on your Apple TV?
I don't think so, or at least I don't know how to.
Look, it can't be. Look, if you can't do it, it can't be done. What do I say? 9th inning. And Ruiz takes strike 1 from Alex Claudio. So Claudio came on for Matt Bush in the 7th inning and got 2 outs. Then used 7 pitches in the 8th inning. And so comes out again. He really has been just something to watch this year, Claudio. You've talked about it a lot lately because we've gotten deep into the season. The pattern has established itself, and there's a lot of numbers now. A lot of data. I mean, he just gets outs quickly. There's that one lined out into right field, and Ruiz is on to start the top of the 9th inning.
Now, Alex is extremely efficient in everything that he does, whether he's letting up a hit, getting a hitter out, and he's gotten a lot of guys out this year. He's done a great job for the bullpen. You and I have talked about it a bunch. 12.6 pitches per inning pitch for him as a reliever this year. It's been the best in baseball.
Gerard Dyson on the pinch run here for Ruiz. So he's got game-changing speed, Dyson. Stolen 23 bases this year in 28 attempts. So a guy that Claudio and Joey Gallo will certainly be keeping a close eye on. And Jose Leclerc getting ready.
And we start getting Leclerc ready either for Gene Segura or Nelson Cruz potentially, depending on how this inning goes.
Dyson with his lead, and he'll draw a throw. Now, if you're Dyson, Scott Service, are you sending him real early in this at bat, like right away, or
not necessarily? We'll see. I mean, you do know that things happen quickly. I think that comes in the equation a little bit with Alex Claudio, knowing that he does not get very deep in counts. I probably would want to let him see at least a pitch or 2 thrown. Now this one I'm positive. I know he messed up the Seager one, but Gamble has hit lefties very well this year. 349. It's pretty good batting average against for a left-handed hitter. Tells you that he hangs in there pretty well.
little number, third base, Beltre in. He'll go to second for 1. The relay to first, and that one gets away. Heading to second base now, Gamble, as Gallo gathers that one up in foul territory. Great play by Beltre and Odor, but Odor's throw just couldn't be handled.
Well, this looked like it was going to be a really nice double play. Adrian Beltre fields his ball cleanly, gets it over to Rougned Odor, throws off a little bit, but not much. And Rudy knew that he had to hurry the throw. Gamble's a good runner. And you watch it here. I don't think that ball hit the dirt. Oh, yeah, it did. Okay, my bad. That ball did go in the dirt. Gallo was unable to scoop it. And so now the Mariners get their runner in scoring position.
Fielder's choice and then an error. And that one charged to Rougned Odor. Now, Jeff Bannister out.
He was asking about the base run, I'm guessing, right? Gerard Dyson, and whether or not he interfered at all. I'm assuming that's what he was asking.
I got to believe that, yeah. And now he cannot challenge it. Rangers lost their challenge earlier. So all he can do there is bring it to the attention of the crew and see if they might on their own decide to take a look at it. They demurred. Meanwhile, everybody else met out on the mound. Gamble in scoring position at second base. Gene Segura, dangerous hitter at the plate. 1-for-4 tonight. Rangers have made 4 errors tonight. That is a season high. It has led to 1 unearned run so far. Clearly been a factor in this game. As Gamble out there at second base. And he's outside. It's 2-0. And now they're going to intentionally walk Segura. So after fall behind 2-0, they say, just go to first. Enough.
That was one of those situations where, you know, we have that unintentional, intentional walk. Well, they get cut short now. And Alex Claudio was doing what they wanted him to do. Take some chances just outside the zone. See if you can get Gene Segura to chase something. Once they fell behind 2-0, they realized they did not want to give in. And so instead of taking any more chances, just go ahead and put him on and let Alex go after Robinson Cano.
Cano, who is 0 for 8 against Claudio in their careers.
That's certainly encouraging. Any strikeouts in there?
One.
So you're thinking, of course, ground ball. Alex does an excellent job of generating ground balls. 70% for him on the year coming out of that Ranger bullpen. And he's gotten 10 double plays. And
it's always been a trouble spot for Cano. He's hit into 16 double plays this year, and that is not unusual. Among the most in the American League. So that's the recipe the Rangers are looking for. And there's a balk call. Second time tonight on Claudio, and Jeff Bannister almost beside himself tonight.
Well, it's frustrating, without a doubt. Now, Alex Claudio is doing the same thing that he has done all year. And there's just a little bit of movement in there. See the heavy movement. Watch this. They just don't see enough of a complete stop. Even though when he stops in his mind, there's still a little bit of movement. And so it's just a matter of right now exaggerating the stop. Like, these umpires are well aware of it. They've already called it once. We're going to force Alex Claudio to come to that complete pause. He's got the heavy movement, a lot of it, and then what he believes is a stop. I mean, it seems kind of silly, but it's not a complete stop, unfortunately.
So Doug Brocail out there just to help communicate that message, of course, and then do a little chewing on plate umpire Doug Eddings, and Doug Brocail has just been tossed.
Brocail's not happy. He wasn't happy when he saw the first call. And again, it's the same thing. If Alex Claudio has been doing it all year, and all of a sudden now you get one crew that comes in here and starts making the call all the time, kind of out of nowhere, that's a problem. The consistency is what you always want from your umpires, and even from crew to crew. And you sit there and say, well, this guy's been doing something all year, and now it's not good enough, and now it's a balk. Yeah, I get the frustration on the part of Alex Claudio's pitching coach and Doug Brocail. You kind of see that one coming a little bit too, I think.
Oh, that's been percolating for a while.
Broke was out there, and I don't know if he said anything to Alex except to say, hold on a second. When Doug Eddings gets out here, I'm going to talk to him.
Yeah, pretend you're interested for a moment.
He certainly can appreciate that as a pitcher.
Yeah, sticking up for his guys. Takes a double play out of the equation now, and a bouncer just wide of first base foul. It's 1-1.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. I mentioned Alex has gotten 10 of those so far this year. That's tied for the second most in Major League Baseball among relievers. Brian Shaw is the leader in that category from the Cleveland Indians. He has gotten 12 double plays this year, so Alex right up there with the best in the game. We've already talked about he's got the best pitches per innings pitched ratio at 12.6 and second in double plays induced.
Well, the infield is all up on the edge of the grass, going to try and cut down Gamble at the plate. And another foul ball. It's 1-2. You look at the numbers for Robinson Cano. When it all it takes is a fly ball or something like that to get a guy in, less than 2 outs. doing it 60% of the time.
That's a better number than looking at the batting average in those situations for that exact reason. Could be a ground out, could be the fly out. How often are you actually getting that runner in? That's what matters most.
Cano waiting, the 1-2. And it is outside.
So they sweep the breaking ball there. We have seen Alex use the two-seam fastball into lefties. He's not afraid to go in at all. And in this kind of game in the 9th inning, go ahead and run it all the way in if that's what he decides he wants to do. Even if you hit Robinson Cano, obviously you'd love to get him out. But if you hit him, who cares? You said that force up both in the middle infield and at home plate. Let's see if they decide to go in. They do. And there it was at 87 miles an hour, that two-seam fastball from Alex.
Of course, then after Cano, we still have Nelson Cruz waiting on deck. I do mean waiting. He's done all of his routine. He's set to go. One out here. Gamble at third, Segura at second. And this ball hit well out toward right field. Chu going back, it's over his head, and that one's all kinds of trouble. Gamble is in. Here comes Segura. The throw to second in time. They get Cano, but he drives in a pair with a single to right field, and he makes it 6-4 Seattle.
Now the good and the bad, unfortunately, for the Rangers right there. Robinson Cano with his first ever hit against Alex Claudio, and it does drive in 2 runs to give them the lead. You'll see it here. They went back in and probably one too many times, and Robinson Cano, such a good hitter over the years, hits this ball hard. Chu plays it perfect, and you could see this coming. He got to the ball so quickly. I actually thought Robinson Cano was going to pull up. He did not. Chu still makes the throw on the money, and you see that second run coming around to score. So some good defense, but unfortunately a big hit.
And that balk was a big one, as now Nelson Cruz walked intentionally for a second time tonight. He is at first. And Kyle Seager, 1 for 4, steps in. 6-4 Seattle. Seager swings and misses at strike 1. Now in the bottom of the 9th inning, Rangers will have the top of the order coming. Chu, Andrews, Odor. In hopes of mounting a comeback. They led 4-0, but Seattle has scored the next 6 runs. Well, Tapper back to the mound. Claudio will throw out Seager. The inning is done, but a 2-run single by Robinson Cano has put the pressure on this Rangers offense. Last of the 9th coming.
Now they need to finish strong. Down 2 in the bottom of the 9th, Seattle with the 6-4 lead. Dana Larson here reminding you we've got Rangers Live coming up right after the game. The post-game edition will have Mike Bassick and Mark McLemore here with me. We'll have a reaction from Jeff Bannister and in the clubhouse, and of course trade deadline day. Much to get to on what happened with the Rangers and Yu Darvish, and also around Major League Baseball. All that and so much more coming up right after the game, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Dana. Hopefully you guys are working through the euphoria of a walk-off win. If they're going to do it, though, the Rangers are going to have to do it against Edwin Diaz in this 9th inning.
And Diaz has a big arm. You see him 19 for 23 so far this season, so 4 blown saves, but 60 strikeouts for him in his 43 games so far this season. I mentioned that fastball averaging 97 miles an hour. It is a big right-handed arm for Edwin Diaz. A slider at 88 and a 12.4 strikeout rate. Lots of swings and misses, but the walk rate is high, up over 4. So an opportunity there as well, something to keep an eye on. The command at times can be an issue.
So it's on to a new catcher as Manzanino has come on in this 9th inning. 1-1 the count to Shin-Soo Choo. Diaz, the 4th pitcher of the night. And a fastball in there, strike 2 called.
And Choo didn't like that one. Leaning out over the plate there, maybe a little bit. This pitch was borderline on the corner. Doug Innings not making many friends right now with the Texas Rangers.
There's a strikeout of 2 to start the bottom of the 9th inning.
The shortstop, Elvis Andrus.
So Elvis Andrus heading to the plate.
That's 5 straight strikeouts for Mariners pitching. 6 out of the last 7 hitters that they have faced have gone down via the strikeout.
I think what, a total of 12 tonight. So a tough night in that regard. Andrews, though, shoots this one to center field, and Heredia is right there. So just like that, 2 away.
The second baseman,
Now, Rougned Odor has been swinging the hottest bat lately for this team, although he has been cooled off the last 3 trips to the plate. Even still, it would have been a lot more to have a man on in front of him. Rangers need a base runner, down by 2 in the 9th. Diaz puts one in there, strike 1. Mookie homered, 2-run shot back in the 1st. And it's 1-1.
Diaz, not surprisingly, good splits. When you're this kind of power stuff that he has, lefty righty, really doesn't make a difference. 194 against lefties, 206 against righties.
Well, Odor has homered off of Diaz, 1 for 3 against him. That one is low, 2-1.
Amazing to see 99 miles an hour. You look at the frame of Edwin Diaz, not necessarily an imposing figure. It's one thing when we see Aroldis Chapman, Dylan Betances. They're big, strong dudes. So this is a small, wiry right-hander with a explosive arm.
How about he's 6'3", 165 pounds. That's what they're listing as.
We've seen guys, and I've seen them, where they're mid-90s maybe at times, you know, 93 to maybe 95, 96. But to see the 99 touching 100, that is incredible how much he gets out of his body.
Popped up. Back behind the plate. Nothing there for Zunino. It's a full count. And for some reason, somehow, Odor get his way on. That would be an awesome way for this game to progress, get that guy to the plate as a potential tying run. Three-two. And got him swinging. So Odor down on strikes. That ends this one. A save for Edwin Diaz, and the Mariners take the opener 6-4. Our final score. The Rangers with a bad case of the Mondays today, and in the post-game show, Dana Larson, Mark McLemore, Mike Bassett, they'll be back to talk about Rougned Odor's hot bat and break down the rest of this game. We'll be back as well. For CJ Nitkowski and Emily Jones, I'm Dave Raymond, inviting you to stay with us. Our coverage of Rangers baseball continues right after this.